Alright, so, everybody had a chance to read the previous minutes from last Monday's meeting.
And also the one before
I
that.
was gonna say, I believe we need to start with the minutes from, that would be what? May 22nd,
Was it 26, I think?
maybe 26th?
They were.
Yeah, I think 26.
Wednesday,
May
May
20
26th.
May 24th.
24th. Everybody had a chance to read over those?
What happened to our grader?
Oh, I had a FEMA meeting on the 26th, I'm sorry, yeah.
Melanie can't hear us.
Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the minutes for whatever the dates those were.
May 24th.
May 24th.
A second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I would also entertain a motion for the meeting from last Monday, June 7th meeting.
I make a motion to accept the June 7th meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Moving right along. Sorry, I have to bounce back and forth from my agenda, and as I said, the reports are going around. Finances, we have did everybody receive one of these?
Yes.
Got it.
What was it? Finances?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you wanna give us a quick rundown of what we're looking at, Audrey, just so we, and you can walk us through that, and then, well, I guess we kinda got her on here twice. We got her on as a visitor also, for the treasurer update and reports. Cause we got her in for finances and,
Well, this is a start. She's figured out the report.
So, basically, it's a breakdown from the town of Bakersfield, the road department. It's a profit and loss statement.
yep,
The library's here. It's not 100% complete. I think there should be some additional information with it compared to what Abby presented the last time. But I'm still working on finding my way around the system, so.
so taking the computer home and being able to kinda scan through it was a big help then.
Yeah,
Good.
it was, and now I just gotta,
Did you get your passwords?
I thought I did, and Kathy helped me with it, and,
Not everyone's a-
I'm gonna have to go and completely reset them. We just went in and tried to
Just wanna know what that entails.
pull on the passwords that were there so that I could access it.
Yes,
And
because I
being
definitely
supposed
don't
to
want
be in the
that.
month, I didn't want to completely move away from it. I wanted to be able to access it. I thought I had, Kathy was very good. She's really helped a lot, and, it seems like when she's standing right beside me, I can do anything. You know, really. But I'm still having trouble with two of the apps, and they're linked.
Pardon me, Audrey, I'm gonna need you to move much closer to the mic. Nobody can hear you, and we've got 4 mics up here, so if you wouldn't mind getting within the range of a mic, I would appreciate it very much.
Pull her up a chair over here somewhere.
You can come up here if you want. And this is your mic.
That's usually
It's a
not a
distance
problem.
thing and the,
Do you want to set that up?
That's the mic right there.
Okay,
So
yeah,
we
it's
have-
just, they've got me completely reset because it takes the two accounts that I'm looking for tapped right into a bank.
I need to be able to hear you too, Audrey.
Just
They
wanna move
should-
that in there.
Yeah, I would think that the passwords
Yeah, March and April.
would be a priority to get changed, so you have your own set of passwords.
Yes, and they're all taken care of except
Okay,
those two are really, before I fool with them too much, I need to know that I know what I'm doing.
okay.
So, but,
Before what? I
Okay.
just, if you could talk a little louder, Audrey, so I can hear you.
I said before I go changing a lot of passwords and stuff, I wanna make sure that I know what I'm doing. So I don't go completely locking myself from getting into these accounts. But it's progress, it's a work in progress.
Right, right.
So I did the best I could by getting these, reports off the computer. They're kind of, I think they give a lot of information. I looked at them, probably way more than what you want, but again, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, I think this is good, if you can bring this to us at each meeting, just, you know, the updated, it almost looks like you could just print off,
The summary sheet,
well, the last, like, page, I think it's 3 and 5 and probably 7, which just gives us, April and May, well, next one would be May and June. You know, if we just print off the last 2 pages of those so that we can see the most up-to-date information, I think would be sufficient. If it's not something that's simple to do and you wanna print out these whole things, that'll work.
Oh. no problem, it's just that the range was set,
Yep.
so I wasn't sure whether
Okay, so it was
that
set
was
for
the
the whole year.
normal. You can change the range, but I just didn't know if you had to.
Did you just give out?
252. I believe. Audrey, I do have one question here. Did you wanna ask it? Lance pointed it out to me. On the very front page,
Yep, go ahead.
selectmen expenses. It's,
What does that entail, Audrey?
yeah, cause we're looking at a selectmen expenses of $36,183. And unless
I knew we shouldn't have put Lance on that committee.
And I drank every penny of it.
It's a hell of a ball.
I don't think, it's right here.
Yeah,
Right there. It's saying we spent 36,000.
Oh, I was just wondering if it was,
no,
I mean, that's for May, yeah. That's reasonable. I was just curious how many hermits we put out.
Well, don't forget the 252, some of them are landowners.
yeah.
Yeah, but those are free, yeah.
Yep.
I can go
Yeah,
in and
since they're being
research
sold
that
for
and
$10
see
a
where it
piece,
comes
I'd
from.
be
Yeah, if you could just, you know, give that a check mark with a question there, just so we're 100%.
$10 a piece, how do you get that?
That's also a good question. What page is that on, Lance?
Page 1, second round, Town of Bakersfield Road Custom Summary Report.
Which one, Lance? Sorry.
Second.
Oh, just a comment, under income, ATV permits, $17.95.
It's the
We're selling them
middle
for
of the
$10 a
packet,
pop.
back to page 1 again.
And that's stuff to the end of May. So whatever we sold in June is on top of that.
In the middle of the packet, goes back to page 1.
Oh,
Where is that?
Page 1, ATV permits.
okay.
You find it, Audrey?
That's how many we've sold that ATV permits?
Well.
Or is that not correct?
They're $10 a piece. We got
It
$17.95.
should be either 1790 or 1800.
Just, I mean,
Just a
not that
comment.
it's a huge deal, but just. We may have more out than that, Terry, but we don't, the landowners are not charged.
Yeah,
Because the one that I just sold tonight was, P.E.G 252, I believe. And that was, and again, this is until May, so I mean, if there was some in the last,
was Audrey able to, I was looking, did she answer, the expense for the select
she
board?
was gonna look into
No,
it.
she's
Okay.
gonna research it.
Thank you.
Research it.
Yeah.
Because select board,
Doesn't get any money out of it.
we're not paid until the end of the year. And it doesn't amount to that much anyway.
It can also be like,
No, I can go
Like
in and see if it'll
$4,000.
give me a line item.
$5,000 total, and you've got an expense of,
36,000.
$36,000.
Yeah, I'd have to research it. I don't know where this
It's,
is pulling from. I don't know where this is pulling from. It's not anything that I have entered. It's something that's in the system and it just pulls it together.
Well, actually,
it's listed
if you go,
twice. too.
if you go to the next page,
Is it-
after the ATVs, and then there's the profit loss for May 21, and then the profit loss year-to-date comparison. You actually have us in there for $40,148, so something is continuously drawing on that.
Wow, yep,
Okay, June.
that's, this one.
You see where I'm talking?
Yeah,
What page?
it says
So,
January to
We had
May.
the ATV income one, which was page 1. Well, it's middle of the pack, there's a lot of page 1s. Yep, so I think it goes to page 8, and then jumps to page 1. So, page 8 is the summary for I believe the general and the, road budget. And then after page 8, it jumps to page 1, which is our income for,
Are the guys considered our expense? The road
not for the
crew?
selectmen. And then Brenda, so it's actually, so it's this page 1, then there's a second page 1 on the third page 1 down here.
Social
Yikes.
Security and-
So something's, so that almost looks like our payroll.
There's a social
is-
security.
That
Takes-
wouldn't be under the select board.
No, it shouldn't be, but I
Well,
wonder
no, that
if
would
that's
be-
what it,
That would be social security for all employees,
right,
right? But the selectmen one is the one that's,
but I'm wondering if it's just not titled right, but that's what that is. That'd make more sense.
it'd make more sense if we paid 40,000 into social security at this point.
Now, where'd you find that,
No,
Josh?
That's
not
too
social
high.
security,
Too
no.
high.
No, there's gotta be something into it.
That they would be in this too, the guys, not just the selectmen,
Okay.
their salaries.
No, their salary should go in under,
I don't see a line item for them, that's what
would
I'm
be in the
wondering.
road.
And the other one,
Payroll,
Josh,
right here. So if you go back 2 pages to the same one that the ATV was on,
Okay,
and then below the ATV, that's your income, the next one down is your expenses, and you go down 2/3 of the way, payroll expenses.
oh, yeah, yeah,
So they should be, they're on the road budget, this is coming out of,
and this is for 1 month,
I mean,
right? This is just for the month of May.
correct, that's the main payroll.
That would make sense.
So how we gotten to $40,000? Yes, if you could look into that and have an explanation for that for the next meeting.
yeah, well, I'll get it for you.
We're not the
sooner.
only ones that would like the explanation on that one, I'm sure.
Like I said, I just went into monthly reports and
Yep,
Well, on the other profit and loss versus actual, it lists this as 9,635% over budget.
I would do it.
Yeah, that would be all I'd do it.
So there's obviously an error somewhere.
Maybe I should just take a quick poll. Does anybody get paid?
Why don't I just tear these up and we redo them?
If I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Because they don't seem, it doesn't.
But drinks are on Gary.
Well, I see a new truck
Well,
out
we
there.
just wanna make sure that the statements are getting run, you know, and this is exactly what we want, Audrey. We just wanna make sure that, you know, this is exactly why we wanna be able to look at this every month. Is so that we can find things that are, you know,
Oh, yeah, I mean, and
and I mean, it's,
yeah, because then if you look,
They were over budget by 39,000.
Yeah, and it's only halfway through the year.
yeah, these aren't completely inaccurate.
I don't
All right,
think we
and,
wanna wait a month though to have it reconciled properly.
yeah.
No,
No,
Yeah, we wanna get that next.
no.
I've got another,
What page are you on?
Very last one, yeah.
Is that the very last page, Lance?
well, there aren't any statements of balance for the trust funds either.
Okay,
Okay, and that's both the principal account and the checking accounts, which are separate. So like the Tupper Fund will have a principal balance and it'll have a checking account balance. The cutting fund is the same. It will also have a principal balance, investment balance, plus a checkbook balance.
yeah, see, I think that's why it's,
did you find those files for those funds, the Brigham and the
yes,
Margaret Cutting?
yes,
Okay,
yes, and the Margaret Cutting letters all went out last week.
okay.
Sorry, what?
All the
The Margaret Cutting, she found the letter.
Anyone else
Okay.
last week?
Thank you.
So yeah, Audrey, if, just keep working on these and, if you can come back and answer
Yeah.
the questions that we've got on those there.
Yeah, I'll do some research. And like I said, it was trying to figure it out, trying to do the month-end reports and,
Yep. Yep.
uh,
This is, I mean, and this is just the reason that we want them, so that we can, you know, we can see where we're getting close and we can see, you know, where we've overdrawn and different things like that, so. Yeah. Anybody have any other questions for Audrey? About?
Okay, we're specifically working on this part, right?
What's up?
The budget, we're working within the dollars.
Within the, yes, I would say that's the finances part, and Audrey would like you to hang around for, you know, like the update part, so we can, talk with Melanie real quick, or not real quick, but Melanie can give us her report, and then we can talk back with you about how things are going. How's that sound?
sounds good to me.
Okay.
Just a point of order, Josh, we have Brody on, as well. He did not make it into the request for, being in the agenda, but you can see the name here. He's
Yep.
with the Franklin County Conservation District. And we didn't get him on in time, but would like a chance to speak
Okay.
wherever you feel it's
Brown's
appropriate.
Pond Dam.
They wanna take that dam out.
Yep, I've heard that.
We're talking on the engineer, because he's the
I
same.
think we
same
have just
engineer
a
that
couple
got
of
the one
things that we
like-
need to discuss with Melanie, so,
Yeah,
since Melanie is on the agenda,
Which guy?
we can work you in, Brody, after that, if that works for,
Cooper, that Harry Cooper back there.
It'll have to.
that'll have to work. Alright, so Melanie, you're on.
Well, if you have specific questions, I don't think I have that much of an update.
Yep, we've had a couple complaints, I don't know if you can hear me, I'm kind of blocking my mic here, but we've had a couple, complaints, concerns, I guess you could word it. The one that has been brought to my attention a couple times is the Westcomb property snack shack. I'm not sure if that one's on your radar or not.
Yeah, I have reached, I sent out a letter, a month ago,
Okay.
and said, hey, you need to have a permit. He came right in and said, it's gonna be a mobile snack shack,
It's not mobile.
It is.
okay, which is
Huh?
different.
Where's it mobile?
There's wheels in
And
it.
then kind of
I
thinking
wanna see
through it
the
more, it was like, well, it is, technically that's a restaurant, it needs to have
It
approval.
would take a roll-off bed to do it.
He said he had approval years ago, so I did go to the records, it took me a while to find
And
the
it's
approval.
designed for that.
So that's still standing,
And there's a
it's
state
still
clause
approval
for
for
state
exactly
statute,
what
right?
he's building, the old snack shack, and I did talk with him again. he
I'd like to
said-
try. I've been trying for 5 minutes.
Okay. Melanie,
You got the
what,
other speaker maybe?
Alright, so there's way too much other talking. I didn't catch a lot of that.
Yeah.
So you're saying the snack shack is on wheels? It's not on the cement pad?
I have been told that as I was about to say, he came in this past weekend, and I was like, so I've been hearing that it doesn't have any wheels on it, so, is it mobile? And apparently that piece is still coming. So, again, it was approved by the zoning board of adjustment, I believe back in 2014. So it's still the same use on the property, so there's nothing
But that was a trailer.
there. And then in terms of if it's mobile, it's not something necessarily that, like, we can kind of have something to say with the use on the property. So it's a mobile restaurant or food shack, when it's there. And so as long as the wheels appear, I did talk to him about it, and he's apparently working on them, so.
So we didn't do an inspection then? This is all,
Well, the original one was an actual mobile camper kind of thing.
no, I know, but I'm saying with what's down there today, we have not done an
Yeah.
actual inspection.
I'd like to see him move it.
The state allowed that if he put cast iron rollers underneath and it could be winched onto a roll-off deck, that counted,
Oh, really?
was my understanding. Was that correct, Melanie?
Yeah, which I didn't understand, but when you said it, that makes more sense.
So they're not wheels in the traditional sense, they're not rubber tires. They would be cast iron rollers, and you'd back the tilt trailer roll-off deck up to it, hook the cable to it, winch it up on the deck, and off you go. Just like a roll-off container.
Got it.
Well, couldn't you do that to any building?
As long as it's
You didn't-
inside certain dimensions, so
you
you
didn't-
could haul it down the road, yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of, clearly it's built to kind of skirt around.
all zoning laws?
Yeah, it kind of is just one of those, it kind of wiggles in and out, and I kind of was like, oh, okay, I got it, there's a use, you definitely need to have a permit, and it was done way back when, and I didn't find it, and then I did, so.
Is there anything on the permit about it actually not being on his property? That was another concern that was brought up as far as insurance wise.
That's not really anything to do with zoning, is it?
Okay, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Sure. Do people can insure it or not, or that's none of.
Okay. Okay.
I think the question was, in the complaint, was could he file a permit
Without it being.
without it being his property?
Is the question, can he take it somewhere without a permit?
No, right now it's on his mother's property. It's not his property, it's on his mother's property. I guess that's the question.
Correct. So can he have a mobile unit?
Would his mother have to get the permit?
is it permitted correctly to
Right.
the right person?
I guess, yes.
The reason it gets weird and why I was talking about the use is if it's not, you know, if you think about what actually needs a permit, it's something that's a structure. It's something that is like, we have these exemptions and it's like, it's exempt if it doesn't have permanent foundation and within a certain like size. And so he's fitting all of those, as well as like when there's wheels and it's set up to be readily movable, it doesn't have the same requirements. You
So
can't
what-
require a permit if it's readily movable.
What is the size of the building?
I don't know.
It's over 100 square feet, I know that.
But
But it doesn't have a foundation.
Right.
And it doesn't want, like, you have a permit
Right.
for
I mean, it's a different,
what it is.
different
And
animal
it's
altogether.
not cited on his property permanently, so the dimensions don't,
Really matter.
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Another question, Melanie, have we worked on, like, all these people that are living in camps without a certificate of occupancy on? We have a couple at my place and there's a few here and there. Have we worked on that at all?
So I was realizing that, like, I don't know where to start with that, because
Yeah.
I'm not aware of, like, camp addresses and, like, and so that was something I wanted to bring up in terms of, like, I can try and just approach every single camp, or if there was a specific.
There's two up by my place. One was, I can't think of her name, but she's Joe Jutas's granddaughter. She bought the property as a camp. As a matter of fact, the bill of sale says not for permanent residence. She's been up there for almost 3 years now, knowing that she can't live there. I know she had they had some issues with right-of-way because there's only 10-foot right-of-way. She tried to get easement or get additional right-of-way through Manahans. They wouldn't give it to her. She's the one that wanted to bring up the road up to class 3 because she has kids up there and she has no CO. And same with Tyler Perry up above, just below.
Tyler
Joslin.
Perry said he has a permit. I can't remember what he called it.
I know he hasn't got a approved septic yet. I know that.
Nope. It's in, what do they call those?
Interim permit or something.
Yeah. He has so long to get it done.
Right.
He can do it in stages. And he's on like the second or third stage of it, is what he said.
But Melanie, probably you talked to Kathy Westcomb. She could tell you the address of the woman above us in the A-frame. She knows exactly who it is. I don't know the exact address, but
One thought, I mean, you can't evict or anybody or
she
tell
can.
anybody they have to leave at this time, or has that
Right.
been lifted yet? Because of the COVID?
I don't know yet, but I mean, she should at least get her septic is not certified. They just as a thrown in for a camp.
Yeah.
She doesn't have certified sewer for one thing. It's just a leach field that someone put in without any design.
Mhm.
It's not engineered.
Yep.
I mean,
So, I mean, it sounds, Melanie, like Gary has a couple names, and Kathy may also have a couple names of people that are living in camps year-round. So I
just think everyone should be
You have-
treated.
you have her email, right?
Melanie's? I don't think so.
But she sent us a couple things.
But I don't have the woman's name. Kathy wouldn't have her name. All I know is Joe Jutas's granddaughter.
Okay.
It's just above the A-frames where Manahan's is. It's the next road up, across from where Greg Roberts' house was. There's a driveway out there.
I don't get up that very much, so.
I don't know her name, I tell you the truth.
The bottom line is, this woman moved into the place knowing that she shouldn't live there full-time, and knowing that the right-of-way was too narrow, knowing that the septic system was substandard, and knowing that it was a class 4 road.
Right. I just think with zoning, everyone should play by the same rules. We can't let, someone has to follow all the zoning rules, and then the next person down the road just lives in a camp without going by our rules. It's not fair to the people that have to follow the zoning rules. It just, we got to treat everyone equally. That's my feeling.
Yeah.
Melanie, what would help you do your job better?
I basically need, so I was looking through, so I need a report or a complaint or an actual, something to follow up on, because I feel like I'm just getting a description, which for me, because I'm not aware of all of the properties and where they are, it does make it harder to try and kind of pin that down. So if there's any more information so that then I can try and investigate.
Melanie, I think Kathy has a bill of sale for that property, and in the bill of sale, it does say, I think we read it, it says not for permanent residency on that one property I'm talking about.
Darlene did initiate,
But can I, like, is it what I'm just supposed to say, Kathy, hey, there's some property? Like, I guess I'm missing the piece of like, where's the descriptor? Like, is there any sort of address or a name or
Yeah.
like?
I don't know the address. I know it's Belvedere Mountain Road, but I'm not really sure what her address is.
Would it be helpful if we put a form together that was just a simple, here's what we need form, like who is there?
I can talk to Kathy and get some addresses for you if you want me to, Melanie.
Yeah, that would be, because I need something to follow it so that I know I'm not like chasing down the wrong person.
Yep.
And then in terms of, it's like, well, the initial contact would be letters saying, can I come and inspect? Because it's like, the other thing is like, I need something to then go say, hey, I want to go check out the property. And that can be either a complaint from somebody, just something specific, or I've seen something. And then I can do the further investigation. I think in terms of like eviction, that's not really something
No.
zoning can do.
I just think they need
What
to.
we can do is write like violations.
Right. I know they don't have
I just wanted to be clear on that.
I know
There's not really a.
she has no CO, I know that.
right,
So the way it sounds then is if you would have to create a formal complaint, get the addresses, get the names, and then deliver that to Melanie, and she would respond from there, so.
He
Yeah,
has a conditional use permit.
Conditional use.
So he's okay.
So Tyler, you should be able to find a conditional use permit for Tyler Perry. His well has been put in, but the septic is what he's still working on.
Yeah.
And he said the permit came from Darlene and the fire chief.
and I mean, if there's an issue with the septic, also that's something that I can, like, the state technically is with that.
Yeah, because
So,
that lady is not, the septic was put in just by, mishmash, put it in just for a camp. It's not really designed as a professional leach field. It's not, designed by an engineer. It wasn't perfect. It was nothing, Melanie.
okay.
And by zoning laws, her right-of-way isn't wide enough as per zoning laws, because doesn't have the right road frontage, and she only has a 10-foot right-of-way up to her property.
Oh, yeah, that's not enough.
Well, neither do I. But you didn't care.
Is there any other concerns? I thought we established that the other one was a health officer issue, not a zoning officer
Right.
issue, correct?
Right.
I think that's all we have for you, Melanie. Do you have anything for us?
No, I don't think so. It's been pretty, I mean, people have been coming in with inquiries or.
So Melanie, I just wanna get it straight. So you will send out a letter to these people, but if they don't follow through with what the letter says, then it's up to us to take a court action with them?
No, it's so the next step we have is the tickets, the civil violation tickets
Okay,
Locals that were dropped off to us.
that I can issue, and that's I think it's like a limit of 800, and it's assessed each day, and so I sent out like a certified letter saying, you have 7 days to respond to this, otherwise a ticket will be issued.
oh, gotcha.
So hopefully that will kind of bring in some compliance with that. Because then that technically then goes to environmental court, so if they choose to contest it or anything.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, I'll get that for you, Melanie, for that camp.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, if there's anything, just I need a little bit more, and
Right.
anything in writing is helpful.
Yep, I'll email you.
That can- Yeah, email or anything, just so I have more to go on.
Down Brian was the parking.
Go ahead.
So the other thing on the complaint for the Westcomb's, Snack Shack was the parking.
Is that,
They didn't think the parking was feasible for,
is that anything that can
But I
be
don't
addressed,
know.
or is that go with the permit from 2014?
yeah.
I believe that goes with the permit from 2014 that was approved, because it said how many parking, spots that were required, and I believe that's what it is. I can double check.
So
But
basically,
I
just,
don't think it's a lot of parking, so I think because it didn't need to be.
so basically, just as long as that shed is movable, he is still in compliant with his permit from 2014, and there's nothing we need to be concerned about.
Correct, and my first thing was when I was like, oh, where is that approval, and when I couldn't find it, I was thinking, oh, there's how we can intervene and make sure it's coming up, but I found it, so.
Okay. That's just, those were the
Can
concerns
we
that were
just,
brought to us.
is there a way, can we get a, copy of that 2014?
It's in the filing
It's right
cabinet
out
right out
here?
here. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's in the top, it's like ZBA 14, it says Westcom.
okay,
The top of the drawer of the filing cabinet,
perfect,
so if you wanna see it tonight, it's in there.
okay.
Thank you, Melanie.
Yeah, alright,
Thank
have a
you.
good one,
You too.
bye.
Bye.
All right,
Have a good one.
Brody. Are we there? All right,
Hey, I'm here.
perfect.
Hey, can you see my email about that Madison?
Looking good, Brody.
Yep, we,
Thank you. Appreciate that. Hey, thank you for making time for us tonight. Sorry that we weren't able to officially get on the agenda, but I appreciate you slotting us in. I guess I'll just quickly introduce myself. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I have been looking forward to meeting with you all. So my name is Brody Hankey. I'm a conservation specialist with the Franklin County Conservation District. We're based out of the USDA office in St. Albans here. And then also joining me is Dave Minkoff at the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Dave, if you want to introduce yourself.
He's muted. You gotta unmute him.
If Dave's still here.
I'm still here.
Oh, great. Hey, Dave.
Yeah, figured it out. Hi, everybody. Thanks for making time to meet with us. I'm Dave Minkoff. I work with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I'm with the Partners Program out of the Lake Champlain office, which is housed in Essex Junction. But my work is focused on stream connectivity throughout the Lake Champlain Basin.
Yeah, and I do a lot of different things at the Conservation District. We work on clean water initiatives with the agricultural community here in Franklin County. We work on other tree planting projects, other, clean water habitat restoration projects. But one project we've been working on for the past 3 years is the removal of the Johnson's Mill Dam on Witchcat Road. We've been working with Steve Cooper, the son of Perry Cooper, for a while now. And that project is just about to come to completion. This summer, we're planning on implementing the removal in August or July of this year. And the reason we're doing that is to improve aquatic passage or improve aquatic organism passage. So that by removing the dam, we'll create kind of an opening for native brook trout to move from the lower parts of the watershed up into the higher parts of the watershed where there's the coldest water. It will restore natural sediment transport and kind of just allow woody debris to float downstream, and just in general should be able to kind of improve the aquatic habitat of the Bogue branch. But what we're going to come and talk with you about tonight was that we've been talking with Mike Brodsey, at least I have at the Conservation District. We've been talking with Mike Brodsey, who's the owner of the Browns Pond Dam, right along Route 108. The Browns Pond Dam, similar to the Johnson's Mill Dam, was on a list of dams that the Nature Conservancy made a couple of years ago that said it may be suitable for removal, or at least that if it were removed, there might be a suite of ecological benefits that we might expect to gain. Similarly, fish passage and just restoring natural sediment transport, decreasing spring temperatures, which is also good for brook trout and other fish species. Mike Rossi has not expressed too much interest in removing the dam, but he is interested in working with us to maybe do a study of the dam and the surrounding area. And that way we might have a little bit more concrete kind of answers to some of the questions we're asking about the dam. As I'm sure you know, both dams are in a state of deterioration and haven't been used for their original purpose in many years now. I know it was originally called Pender's Mill, and that was a productive sawmill for many years. But since, both dams have been in a state of disuse, those dams do have a limited lifespan, and there are resources out there to remove these dams before they fail unexpectedly, having adverse impacts on either property or aquatic habitat and aquatic species.
Have there been any studies? Sorry, Josh, the Selectboard Chair. Has there been any?
No, please.
Has there been any studies to see what this would do to our town's watershed? Our town water comes from the south end of where this brook originates, and I think by removing that dam, you would lower the water table, which could significantly impact our town water source.
And is that water source? Is that for like a kind of like a fire hydrant that used for firefighting?
No, that is the town's main water source that supplies the entire town with water. Actually, our water person is here, so.
Yeah, so the reason that we wanted to
I don't think that's
come here
You
is
don't think it'll affect it?
because, so we're thinking about doing this study to ask questions like that, and really what we wanted to get is to get as many questions as you all have, and the community has about the dam and about the watershed, and kind of impacts, pro or con. So we're not Mike Rossi is not interested in removal at the moment, but just knowing it's kind of a dam that's slowly deteriorating over time, I think it's just kind of maybe worth some study and asking some of these questions. So that is one that definitely I'm going to be writing down a list of questions that you all have,
I know
there's certainly something that's worth investigating.
I know years ago the emergency outlet, the plate rotted and it drained the pond, and some townspeople put the plate back in to fill the pond back in. So that was probably 20 years ago.
Plus.
Or plus, yeah.
It looks terrible without the water. It looked awful when it was drained.
Yeah, I do remember reading. I've gotten a copy of the state's dam safety reports, and included in that is the Vermont Dam Safety Program kind of keeps a record of their inspections that they do periodically on dams, and also some of the context surrounding that. And I did recall seeing that in around 98 or 99 or something like that, the low flow outlet failed below the dam and it was plugged up, and it's been, the guy I saw that the whole dam had drained in a 72-hour period and then was plugged, and then has filled up back since, of course. And it's been, no failure since that point, from my understanding.
Brody, Brenda Churchill, I got a question. Is the dam in any chance it's going to fail at any point in time now, or is it just old and eroding?
Yeah, that's a good question. So from my understanding, that the last time that the state did an inspection, a dam safety inspection of the dam, was around 2001. And so as part of this study, we would be updating that and getting a dam safety report where they would inspect the condition of the dam. But of course, it is difficult to anticipate when dams fail because it's mostly controlled by weather. So it's hard to pinpoint, I think, exact time frame. But looking at the state of the dam is one thing that we're hoping to do.
And I don't think so either, Brooke. I think since that 2001, the pond has filled up, and so it's not that deep. I think you can walk across it now. It's probably 2 to 3 feet deep. It's filled with silt. It might be deep by the dam, but the overall pond is not very deep anymore. It's all silted in, so I'm guessing it's probably 2 to 3 feet deep at the most.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of seen as well. I can see that at the back end of the pond that the peninsula is kind of starting to grow, where the branch feeds into the pond. That's all kind of being. There's all that sediment has been filling in for all those years, and it probably heats up the water as well because it's shallow. So.
Isn't Lance, isn't releasing that much sediment in a short period of time going to have an adverse effect on the stream for miles down?
Yes, a sudden failure of the dam and releasing all that sediment would, I think, all that was, of course, all my work is all about phosphorus, right? And so, that is probably somewhat sediment. It's probably a lot of fine sediment has settled in back behind the dam, and so tends to the sediment of all sizes. But yeah, there's a water quality concern there. If that sediment would all be released at once, would be a release of all those nutrients downstream. But also, Dave can probably speak to this better than I can. But just having that turbidity, I believe, also, especially during certain times of year, could really adversely impact some of the fish in the stream as well. And also, just if it were to suddenly fail and all that sediment would be released, it would be years of intense erosion back behind the dam. And so, one of the things that when you proactively remove the dam, one thing you do is when you drain the water, and then you could go behind it with the excavators and you actually remove, some amount of that sediment, and place it somewhere else. At the Johnson's Mill Dam, that dam actually failed during the Halloween storm in 2019. It was partially breached already, but then it further failed and released sediment unexpectedly. And actually the Witch Cat Garlic Farm caught most of it during that storm. And of course, their fields were all flooded. But we're still planning on removing some of the sediment from behind that dam. We're actually taking it to the Jarvis Farm, where they're going to spread it on one of their fields to incorporate it back into the field and use it for crops. So it was kind of a win-win situation there that we had somewhere to place that sediment, but sometimes it just goes in town garages or something like that.
No repairing it?
Any more questions for?
No, it just sounds like with the removal of the sediment, that could be a project that takes years.
Yeah, like I said, this is a pretty big dam. So I'm not an engineer. It's a lot bigger than the Johnson's Mill Dam has been, where I've kind of been able to get some of those nitty-gritty details. But sometimes it takes a couple of weeks of work. But yeah, if you all have questions, we have the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has funding for us to proceed with this study, and we're hoping to do so just to kind of get some of this information and try to hopefully come to a consensus about maybe what makes sense to do, and it's totally up to Mike Razia, because I don't want to speak for the landowner here. We've had a couple of conversations. I've met him a few times at the dam over the past few years, but at this point in time, all he's kind of asking is us to maybe help produce some of this information. But I'm hoping that if we proceed with the study, that we would be able to share it with you all when it was complete, and so that you all could take a look at it. I've been speaking with the Bakersfield Conservation Commission as well, and just similarly was trying just to get questions that they had about the dam and the surrounding area, and you know what some of the impacts would be of either removal or a sudden failure.
Is there any talk of fixing?
Yeah, so it's, I think that's certainly one of the, I think the engineers too, they kind of lay out an alternatives analysis. They kind of say these are different paths that could be taken, either from doing nothing to removing the dam or to repairing it. If it were to be repaired, that would fall on like Razi, the landowner would have to be the one to spend the money to repair the dam, unless he were to sell it, of course.
And of course, that would defeat your purpose of having an easier path for native trout to travel upstream.
Yeah, as I said, there's funding out there at the state, at U.S. Fish and Wildlife to remove these dams where it's strategic to do so, and where there are benefits from it, but there's no resources to repair dams these days for the most part. Unless it's producing hydropower, of course, right, or unless it's serving a real function.
So there is a question directed to us. If the dam was removed, would that increase water flow during a spring runoff and heavy rains that would potentially undermine the footings of the bridge that's there? Is that on your radar?
Yeah, so one part of the feasibility study is, and one of the most important parts of it really, is looking at nearby structures, right? So there's that culvert that's upstream of the dam, there's the bridge that's immediately downstream of it, and there's also kind of a concrete wall right along Route 108, and also the dam's just relatively close to Route 108. So looking at those structures and, engineers looking at them and kind of theorizing about what would happen to those structures if the water table was to drop. I think one thing that I think about too is that if the dam were to be removed, right, so the goal would be if it was to be done intentionally, it would become either a free-flowing stream, but more likely is that actually beavers would probably move in, and if allowed to, it would probably become a tiered, beaver meadow, kind of tiered wetland, is kind of what I would expect. I know there's probably beavers around there already, so, the water level might not drop so incredibly, if beavers were allowed, and it's potential too then for the design to create kind of a beaver analog, and those are passable for traffic. We wouldn't consider that to be an actual barrier to fish passage, but otherwise it would kind of become a meandering stream through that valley there. Then we would revegetate it with woody vegetation, like trees, shrub, willows and other shrubs, or other dogwoods, any kind of wet-loving plant species would thrive in that valley there. And so, the goal is by removing it intentionally, you don't leave any exposed sediment. Everything would either be seeded down with a conservation or a wetland seed mix or planted with woody vegetation. That's what we're doing at the Johnsonville Dam.
Any other questions?
I think we're all set.
Good.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing what your study provides us for info.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you making time for me. I've recorded all the questions that you've asked here, and hopefully we will address them as we move forward with our study. And I can send my contact information to the town clerk maybe community, so if you ever want to reach out, and I'll just say keep a lookout for maybe news about the removal of the Johnson's Mill Dam, and if any of you either want to come visit the site while we're taking it out, you're more than welcome to. You just reach out to me.
Excellent.
I did have a question about that. Was there any loss of soil at the garlic farm there at Witch Cat when the Halloween storm came through? I know you said
I did go talk with them right after the storm, and actually I believe that their field ended up receiving a lot of the sediment that was backed up from behind the dam. It took me a while to get out there, but from my understanding, they lost some of their crop that year, I think. But also a lot of the sediment that was backed up behind the dam just got deposited on their field because it was kind of the first chance it had to open out onto a kind of a broader valley.
Was that to the detriment of the soil spectrum there, what was already existing?
I mean, I'd have to ask the Witch Cat farm folks. They didn't. I mean, I think that they were mostly upset about the water kind of inundating their fields. I don't know if they saw the soil there as kind of a benefit, because it was, probably a little nutrient rich after kind of hanging out and being a bit of a wetland for so many years. Probably a lot of fine sediment that had been backed up from behind the dam. But I'm not sure.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much for having us. Join the meeting, for letting us join the meeting. I'll mention, it's great to hear the questions that you guys are asking. Those are great questions. They're important. They're questions that often that will get addressed by studies like this that's proposed. And as Brody mentioned, if more questions come up, please reach out to him or myself, and we're happy to answer any of those questions, or maybe we can include them in the study if we can't get answers right away, or in future studies if this starts to move forward. It would never be our intention, certainly from the perspective of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and I think from the NRCD as well, to try and move forward with something that didn't have the support of, well, of course the landowner, but also the community at large, community in general. So we appreciate your time and thought on this.
Yeah, could we get you guys to drop your email addresses in the chat box there, just so we can jot them down in the minutes?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Can we get you to put your emails in the chat box so that we can jot them down?
Sure, I'll drop that in.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And,
Then if we have any questions, we can.
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen.
yeah, and if anyone from the community that's listening in on this right now or reading the minutes, very happy to either get a call or an email from anyone sometime. I'll drop my phone number in there as well. I want to, just to reiterate what David just said, is in my conversations with Mike Rossi, I think his number one concern when it comes to the dam is the community's value that they get out of it, and wanting to make sure that he wouldn't be doing anything that the community was not in favor of. So
Perfect.
it is very important to us. We're going to work with the community. So
Excellent. Thank you both for speaking.
yep. All right. Thank you for having us. We're going to sign off and let you continue your meeting.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. All right. Bye.
All right. So, one of the issues, this is off visitors for a quick second. I was just looking at this. We actually do have, and I'll pass this down to you again, because you might want to contact Ginger. She filled that out on a different situation, but that may be what needs to happen for the incident Friday. And I'm not sure that may be able to be filled out by one of your people in Munisburg and then faxed to us, or if he went to the doctor, I'm not sure.
Did he go to the doctors? They went, I mean,
So,
I don't think, I think we're being, to me, we're all set. We,
It's a workers' comp incident.
okay.
Yeah.
Alright, I just wanted you to see that, I just kinda off cuff saw that, that's,
Did we have warrants to
Hazard of the
sign?
job.
what's that?
Did we have warrants to sign?
Unfortunately.
We do,
Yeah.
they are right here.
Right
We're
here.
stuck, huh?
Yep, yep. Alright, so. So updates, treasurer updates, not necessarily the financials, but how things are going.
They're getting, better and better all the time. It's like anything, it takes time, but,
Okay. There were some concerns about the minutes of the last meeting. Some things that were said,
Well, why'd we approve them then?
no, not what was in the minutes.
Oh,
The minutes are correct, but the actual content of what was said.
I thought that wasn't wanted in the meeting.
What do you mean?
He said they didn't wanna discuss it in the meeting.
I wasn't thinking of that. Are you referring to this?
Yeah.
That's, so I actually received other,
Oh, you got
well,
others.
I didn't actually. Brenda received one and, there were other concerns that were voiced. Not necessarily to select board members, but in general,
Oh, okay.
about some of the claims. I guess, do you wanna bring forward yours, Brenda? or-
Yeah, I just, there was remarks that were made that were pretty disparaging to the previous treasurer and with reference to what was agreed to protocols. We certainly had your story, Audrey, and we now have the rest of the story from the previous treasurer as well. To say they were conflicting would be kind of small. They're huge. The conflicts in what you told us versus what we were told by the previous treasurer lead us to have some questions. We didn't elect you, you don't work for the select board, you work for the voters of Bakersfield, that's clear. But when somebody has clearly stated one thing to us and then someone else has clearly stated something else, there's a conflict there. There's a tremendous conflict. Because we were on public record with all the comments and criticisms from last time, it is really very fair to offer that same platform to someone else to voice their concerns with respect to how business has been done, and not validating either statement, right or wrong, just stating that there's two parts to the story. This part from a previous treasurer is significant. And while I would say it's a she said issue, it really isn't, because there are people who have also witnessed the issues that we've talked about and discussed, that you brought to us, and that are countered in a letter that was written to the select board. So with that said, it begs a question.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Sure, go
This
ahead.
needs to be an executive session.
No, it doesn't. It wasn't last time. When we discussed it in public, it wasn't done in executive session. This is public record.
Disagree.
Well, you can disagree, and that's fine. But the nature of this is that it is a public thing. Our voters voted for the individual, voted for you, Audrey, and with the expectations from them is what we as a select board have to uphold. If the voters' expectations were that we would get a treasurer that would be functional and work well and get the job done, that's what their expectations were. Okay, as a board, doesn't matter. But if people are in opposition or have another opinion, I do believe that that is public record, and I definitely will be talking to folks that can support that. I don't know, Terry, what your foundation is for it being an executive session. If you explain it to me clearly, I would listen to that.
Then I would ask that we go into executive session.
So you can explain to me why it's an executive session? That's fair. Mr. Chairman, you got a feel for that?
Let me just look at the requirements for executive session. It's almost like I thought this might happen. Open meeting laws, cancellation of meeting, quorum, contract, executive session, 33. Executive session is limited to statutory expectations to the open meeting and laws. A select board may vote to enter into executive session at any time during an open meeting when the topic to be discussed meets the criteria in 1 VSA 313A. Motion must state the nature of the business to be discussed in executive session. It must pass by a majority vote of the members present, and the results of the vote must be entered into the minutes. No other matters may be discussed in the session, and no binding votes or actions may be taken until the board comes out of executive session and is again in open meeting. At the board's discretion, it may ask staff, clerical assistants, legal counsel, and persons who are subject of the discussion or whose information is needed to attend the executive session. Section 1, VSA 313A. Executive session is not meant to be a way to get around public scrutiny or debate when controversy is brewing. Rather, it is a way to discuss sensitive subjects thoroughly before action is taken. An executive session is considered an extreme measure and may only be done under statutory prescribed circumstances. The Vermont Supreme Court leans very heavily in favor of conducting business in open meetings. Trombley versus Belleville Falls Union High School. The only binding actions may be taken in executive session is related to securing of real estate options. If a vote or resolution is required or desired on any topic discussed in executive session, it must be taken in the open meeting, not in the executive sessions.
Okay.
Minutes of an executive session are not required. However, if minutes are taken, they do not need to be made public as other minutes are.
I mean, there's no binding vote, because we have no control over the trustee, treasurer, because it's a.
I just read you exactly what this says about
Yeah.
executive session. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
persuade you in any one way or
No,
the
I know,
other.
but there's no vote, we can't vote on anything, it's just basically a discussion.
It is a
All right,
discussion.
it's discussion.
I'm only one person. Are we calling for a vote for executive session?
Yes, I am.
We have a motion for executive session. Is there a second? Not seeing a second. Motion is denied.
Okay.
So, to continue our discussion, did you have anything more to state?
No, but I think it's fair that folks who are your boss get to understand the full picture versus one side of the picture. And I would ask the chair and the secretary to enter the aforesaid email and document into our records of this meeting. With that said, I can provide you a copy of that document if you'd like. Sure.
So are you recommending, I mean, what?
I'm recommending that we enter the complaint actually from a constituent who was our treasurer, who is no longer our treasurer, that her complaint be registered and validated with respect to a counter argument to what, or a counterpoint to what
Right,
Audrey
that's
offered
what
us last week.
Is everybody in understanding as to what was just asked?
It wasn't asked, is it? That's,
I
yeah,
read that letter totally different. I thought she did it not wanting it brought into the meeting. But I could have misread it. That's why I'm reluctant to discuss it. I
Well,
can't
we're not
find it.
talking about discussing it.
No, we
We're
just-
talking about adding it to the minutes of today's meeting.
So does that mean read it, Brenda?
We don't have to read
She
it
is
if we enter
reading
it
it.
into the, we just enter it into the,
Just let it enter into the minutes?
as we do any of the letters that we get in the mail.
Okay, I don't know what I did. Oh, right here. Maybe I read it wrong.
So it says that she wishes not to come and discuss it, but wishes to speak her piece by this email. Correct?
Well, so
And
far,
body-
Trying to find
Body
it
of the
here.
email, not body of the letter.
well, so far, one of the things that I disagree with is I never said I was feeling very comfortable and confident, because I haven't been, so. And I asked repeatedly,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I asked repeatedly for one-on-one. That meant just her and I to sit down. That never happened.
Well, she said it did, and it's one of the things that we can't argue, is a she said here.
Right, and I agree, but I'm just telling you, you want me to read it and tell you how I feel, or?
No, I wanted you to read it, I wanted to have a copy of it, you can certainly
I only have a copy of
express your opinion and how you feel
it. Yeah, I-
in a subsequent
I read it.
meeting.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure that there was a rebuttal, if you will,
Well,
of
because the
things
way
that were
this
said.
printed, it printed a thing right in the middle of it.
And I
Are you reading
never
this part? The actual
once
email,
intended
But
to,
then there's the attached letter.
Right, that's what I got here, it's the attached.
Okay, so this is the email that states that she wants to speak her piece, but she doesn't wanna do it, she doesn't wanna come to the meeting and do it. This is her letter, this is her side of the story, and
Oh,
that's-
okay, see, I misunderstood
No,
that.
yep, yeah, well, that's what I'm offering if you wanna read it here.
Josh, can you forward that to me?
You should have got a copy.
I was gonna
That's
say, I
around
believe
here.
you're
I
wrong.
have a copy of the letter.
I don't know why I don't have that first part there.
That was the body of the email itself.
Tammy is not, I'll forward it, I'm all set right here.
Way ahead of you,
Okay? Not a problem.
sorry.
It's not the whole thing, though, that's the, oh,
You have two copies, so I'll just take one.
yeah,
Did that one get printed two-sided? Mine did not. I just wanna make it excellent.
But the email would be helpful.
So,
yeah, send her
you got it,
the email header.
Thank you.
already there. Okay. So. Get back to June agenda. Alright, so. I think board business,
What's that?
these two things are later. We still got
well,
the
I'm
roads.
sorry, but that's not all 100% true, and I'm not gonna, that's it. It's a he said, she said. There are things in there that are not true. I'm not gonna discuss it. It's like killing a dead horse. I didn't mention anything to throw anybody under the bus. I have said that repeatedly.
Yeah, but you did so, and you did throw somebody under the bus, so it's pretty clear that you said one thing and did another. I just want to make sure that that's clear, that you sat here and said you don't want to throw somebody under the bus, and you proceeded to throw her under the bus. Just so we're clear.
Whether the statements are true on either side or not, it's, what we're saying is at this point,
She did what we asked her to do.
at this point,
We asked you to come forth and tell us what you needed,
correct, and
and that is what we asked of you.
that's what we will continue to ask is
Exactly.
whatever you need, Audrey, to help you get your job done from this point on. That letter makes it very clear that Abby, shit, that our former treasurer is no longer gonna be a resource. So from this point on, any more information or any more training that you need, come to us. We will help you get it to do your job to the best of your ability.
Yep.
Does that make sense? We're not accusing anybody of anything. You got to speak your piece. We wanted to make sure that you saw that she spoke hers. Okay?
And that's fine.
And that's all we're really,
You ever see that mobile commercial?
Can you hear me
Not that
now?
I know.
Well, that's an old one.
So,
I can,
it's malware. No, it's malware. We agree to disagree.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that you knew all the information is on the table. Nothing is being hidden from anybody. And we just want that to be clear.
That's fine. I kind of got the gist of that this afternoon.
Okay. Thank you for coming in. Unless you have any more information or any more reports or anything for us, we're all set with you. You're welcome to stay and listen to the rest of the meeting, but okay. Thank you for coming in.
I'm gonna keep working on these reports. I'll go back and find out where the discrepancy lies.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure if the town sees that we've spent $40,000 on selectmen stuff, we're all gonna be,
Do you have our emails?
maybe she's trying to get
So
rid
you
of
can
us
get
that.
us the information before
Maybe I shouldn't drive my new four-wheeler down the street.
Right.
the next meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
You can always email it to us.
yeah, actually, no, I don't, but I think I can get them from Catherine.
Perfect. All right.
And I will, are all the warrants signed?
yes.
They are
No,
not.
no, I have questions on them.
We'll leave them on your desk for you.
All right, I was just gonna put them on my desk and, I'll get working on this as soon as we get the warrants taken care of tomorrow, so that,
Sounds good. Thank you, Audrey.
Thank you, Audrey.
Have a good evening.
Mr. Rhodes. Come on up. You gotta be next to a mic so we can hear you.
That one right off.
Like I said, one there, one here. Welcome to Screen for
Right
Matt.
behind the poles.
Right
of the
behind the
place.
pole. Oh, it's like-
Good place.
I don't wanna be that guy, Mac, but she's zooming right in on me up there too.
Yeah, but you see the pole. Yeah.
Alright, so, Rhodes. She's talking about moving the camera over.
Yeah, I see that. We have a thing from Tyler, the
Hey,
2-box culverts and the culvert on Jordan Road went out to bid. We got a bid of 200 less.
Yep.
$200,000, a little over $200,000 was from
Goodhue, Scott.
Yeah, we
Scott
saved,
Goodhue.
next bid was 270 or something like that.
Just a
Almost
second.
right.
And that's the one that he recommended going with?
Yeah.
Well,
Or
it
did
was the lowest bid, and this Tyler had been through all the numbers, and
Okay.
He's like, he's not missing anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, it-
Goodhue was $200,687. That was $115,000 roughly for the 6x6 box culvert on Whitney Road. $55,000 for the three-sided bridge and or plank bridge on Waterville Mountain Road. $30,000 for the squash pipe culvert on Jordan Road.
Okay.
Okay. The next bid was Gilliam. They had 279,000 even. Blow and Cody had 290,650. SD Ireland declined to bid.
in a way I understand it, like the two other bidders had some inflated quantities, some of the earth quantities were inflated like $5,000 a yard for concrete or some on stupid thing, you know, for,
So
yeah.
they were charging their 10% on top of
They
the-
figured they've had more concrete, they're gonna make some money on it.
Okay, okay.
Here, I have a
What was
report
the
from
difference
Tyler.
in bids?
70,000.
It's about 70,000,
80.
almost 80,000 difference
It
from
was
first to
80,000.
second.
Here I have a report from Tyler Billingsley, the engineer of record for the job, recommending that we go with Scott Goodhue. And here we have the 84 page contract.
Yep. So it's not really,
Scott has to read that.
well, it's
So
not, you got,
they don't
somebody-
explain why, I mean, that's a huge difference.
it's all unit pricing, that's why.
It's all what?
Unit pricing, so some people inflate their certain units. And you got mobilization, you know, Scott's just down the road.
Yep.
He made it sound like it was gonna be more of a filler
Yeah.
towards fall, you know, for himself. He had work for now, but not so much lined up for fall.
Blow and Cody's known to be expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do good work, but they're expensive.
Do I need all those figures in minutes?
But see, on
I'm sure
the
Lance.
contract, you got the,
I'll give them to you.
So I can take a picture of some.
you don't have that much really. You have the notice of award,
Yep.
notice of acceptance, and you got your contract. It's not that big. I mean, yeah,
All we
there's
have
all
to
these.
worry about is this one. Tyler will make sure he
Yeah.
gets the contractor to sign it in on their page. This is our page here. The other contract, Mac was delegated as the official representative of the town. He is representative of record with FEMA.
And I read that, but just to be clear, you guys are now in charge of, you two gentlemen are now in charge of the financials that go along with FEMA, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We also have a bid opening tomorrow on the Goat Path Bridge,
Okay.
9 o'clock, if anybody wants to be here. We had,
What was that, St. Mac?
bid opening tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
For
Town
Goat.
Clerk's
Oh, for
office
Goat
for the
Path.
Goat Path Bridge.
Oh, sorry. There was an addendum as well. I'm sorry. It just has to do with how the footings are made. They wanted clarification. So Mr. Billingsley put an addendum in, it just changed the footings on the bridge slightly.
Make them stronger, I would
Yes,
assume.
yes. Stronger and a little easier.
Big contract.
It's a pretty,
Yeah, you think?
This is a little bit,
Yep. Oh, okay.
usually I have like maybe 6 pages.
if you look at a
Page
profile,
47 is the one that needs the same.
Yeah.
if you look at a profile,
Because usually
you
we
see
have-
that those
we
big
have the,
footings are stepped back.
Notice of
So
acceptance.
this is,
You got the
one
notice
week
of,
is here.
proceed, notice of proceed, and you got your contract.
no worries.
And then you got your,
What do it's on this?
Must be FEMA official.
Must be.
Pages.
Come on.
you know how to read that?
I can't read it. It's-
What do you wanna do?
Where's the, which side's the inlet?
This is my question to you.
Has to be this side.
Question?
Has to be this
Why
side. This is
always?
108's on this side,
Always,
up
I
here.
bet.
twice in the last 3 months.
But what for this time of year?
Starting early, so when we put chloride down, we don't have to work later in the afternoon.
And only one of you starts
That's
early?
because the only one's running the grader.
Maybe I can't read it, I can't see it.
I can't see it, it's right.
Oh, okay.
Using my fire seeing
That
glasses.
way, we don't have to wait the extra, you know, he can grade whatever.
Cause he's got my,
Start our
Scott's got my sidewalk
Yeah.
project, he gonna
Dragging and chloride.
start on the
you know,
16th of
instead
this
having
month.
to wait the hour.
Yeah.
He has to be done by July
Started this time,
16th.
I think the last time we went out.
So all of these will go with.
Understandable.
So we need to sign that then, basically, or someone's gonna need to sign it.
Yeah,
I mean, 'cause you
Max
gotta
could sign it.
When
Did
it's-
this rain?
And,
It's gone up. I mean, when it definitely
Somebody's gotta
stops
witness
raining,
it, that's
we'll
all.
start.
and then he'll get
Tomorrow
good, he'll
looks
just
like
sign
a
it.
dry day.
I
That's
know, cause Liddy's asking, you gotta accept that, so I'm seeing
Grader.
that.
What happened to our grader?
flat tire. 2 flat.
She sunk her rock.
That's just to change it. We had a spare tire. We
George.
actually had 2 spare tires. One had a bunion on it about like that.
Yeah.
The other one kept going flat. So when George Woods came up, he said, okay, well, I'll put this one on. And he looked at it and he said, well, this tire's a little different profile than that tire. So we had the other tire from before. He took that one off. There was a slow leak and it was the same thing. It had a bunion on the inside on that one. Then it actually bulged out and it was leaking.
And
So
I'm witness, I saw it.
he changed them both over for us. So it's,
How much
Well,
was
at
it for
least
the
you got-
changeover?
$331.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
that's
not
not
bad.
I've had that same company charge me 600 for my skidder.
Yeah.
Just a 40 horse international tractor cost me almost 200,
Yeah. Just
and that was just changing the tire.
just to get them up here is the problem.
He did 2 tires for that?
All right.
That's
That's
not bad.
Well, yeah, they got a deal actually, because they got him while they didn't get that second trip.
Right, second trip.
yeah. We were lucky that he was actually able to do the second tire at the same time.
Yeah.
So FEMA's heading in the right
Those are my
direction.
questions.
FEMA is heading in the right direction. Mac and I are meeting after the bid opening tomorrow
Okay.
To work on workbooks.
to work on the,
We have to get the work, originally he said workbooks on, I think there was 7 projects on it or something.
Yep.
6.
6 or 7.
And at the last telephone meeting we had with FEMA, he said, put Waterville and Whitney forced account laborers on the
That's
same.
nice.
So in other words, anything we've done to date on FEMA work is gonna get on the same one workbook. So now we gotta go back and start all, not start
I
all,
know, we
Go
just
back.
got,
take what we've
Take
done
what
and
you've
add
done.
all
but
this.
that's where the bulk of the material and labor was those 2 roads. And now we've got to add it to this other account. And we're afraid it's going to put it over into large
Large
jobs,
Okay.
large projects.
But if he told you to do that, does that affect that? If he's asked you to combine those
No.
and that bumps it over,
We're hoping to have a better handle on whether it's gonna bump it over tomorrow.
okay, okay,
Because if
We-
it does, then we do have to tell them, but we have another meeting with them Thursday
Thursday.
morning
okay.
at 9 o'clock.
And this is to, so this will all get submitted, and then when the person that wins and accepts the bid completes the job in the fall, we should
This is
steer it.
This is a different job. We're talking, the workbooks is on
This-
everything else.
This job may or may not be done this year. We're hoping it will be. But,
Okay,
The
so
bridge?
this one you'll be able to submit, is what you're saying, the workbooks.
The workbooks will be
Yes.
submitted. Right now, we have the Jordan Road is gone through all the hoops,
Okay.
which includes the culvert.
Trowbridge.
And Trowbridge.
Okay,
Those are getting through FEMA, and they were waiting for one piece of paper that's gonna get filled out and signed in tomorrow. And then that should be, 75% of that money should be coming in.
and okay, so how much does that potentially pay the town when this is submitted and paid?
It was, like 50 and
It was
15, so 65, 75% of 65 maybe.
Yeah.
And they're waiting for, they got one person, I guess, that's being a stickler on the demolition part of the bridge.
Okay,
So once he decides, and Abby seemed to think in an email that they had let that one go. So once that lets go, then it goes back to them, goes back to here, goes back to there, and then that'll be the same.
I
thing.
mean, that one, would be
That's pretty-
$80,000, I think,
Just-
because that
demolition.
involved engineering.
Yeah.
So there was the job,
And then
plus the engineering, which was 120, 30, I don't know, between 120, 140,000.
yeah.
75% of that would be coming back our way.
okay.
So those 3 are gonna come back fairly quick. Hopefully we can hash out the workbooks, that'll go through fairly smoothly, and I think that's gonna be a pretty good chunk. And then 3 things that are gonna go out to bid, I'm pretty sure the way he said, we had to wait till it was done.
Okay,
But
so we're talking next spring before we see any payoff on that, or later?
maybe not on the 3, because the 3 are expected to be done this year.
those
The bridge,
6, we're
he
gonna get
wants to
96,000 back
before
on,
it's,
or
you know what I mean,
96,000
in
Yep.
and ready for fall.
as is.
And
And
then
we're
that
gonna
way
throw
they can do
the
Okay.
top
forced
half of that.
labor and
But if they have
materials
time
from
to do
these
the whole
two
thing,
into
do
that.
it all this fall. So I mean, that's just a matter of,
Okay.
and those are bid
Yeah.
projects, so there's no other,
And I know this is a question for Audrey, but that money that comes in is going towards the TAN loan, correct?
yes.
That's
No,
No.
No. that's going toward the FEMA loan.
Okay.
TAN loan is a tax
Okay,
anticipation.
right.
Okay.
Okay, so it is going towards the loan, though, it's nothing that's gonna
Yes,
help the actual operation of the town.
correct.
Alright, just wanted to make sure that we weren't banking on that for anything.
It says bid approvals, do we have to approve them as a board? Do we take a motion, or what is it?
Approve
The contract,
the contract, I believe.
Yeah.
I'll make
Is
a
that a
motion.
sign-off page that you have there?
Yep.
For tonight, or
Yep.
is that a?
No, that's as long as you're gonna keep Mac as the town representative on these projects. He signs it. and have he
it-
signs it,
Excellent.
and somebody
Also,
will
want to give a compliment, your Basswood and my road looks great, you guys graded it and already looks good.
I must be talking to you about great roads.
I only
like,
saw,
how-
I only saw
I mean-
one complaint on any of the forums. Could they be talking about 108 still?
Probably.
Yeah,
no, it's on the 108.
I don't know.
Hey, the speed's gone down in the middle of town now, they don't go more than 30 miles an hour.
That's not true.
Some of them, I'll agree with you there, some of them are still going.
I had
Boy.
somebody pass me
My God.
Oh, no.
by Jollies.
It's so, well, it's not bad there, but like from
And
like Clements up through here, there's potholes that take out a
it
car.
was a
Especially on
total,
the
I
north
couldn't
side.
even believe it. They were going around the corner by Virginia's before I even got a chance to realize they passed me.
So
Probably unregistered.
I'll let you.
I don't know what it was. Good thing
I
they
make a
didn't come
motion
through
that
last
we
night.
accept the low bid for the projects for improve Goodhue Excavation Incorporated for low bid for the projects.
You made a motion?
Yes, I
We
did.
did. We need a second.
I will second that.
All those in favor of
Could you repeat the
accepting?
motion, please?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to. All those in favor of accepting Scott Goodhue's bid of 200,000? No? 100. I thought he said 200.
No, 100. No, it's 200. It was 200.
No, it's $200,687.
See, somebody was listening. All those in favor of accepting Scott Goodhue's bid of $200,687, signify by saying aye.
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 All those
What's
opposed?
he doing?
Two box culverts and a culvert there.
Yeah,
We
it's
told
That's the
them.
6x6 box
No, I
culvert.
know, but it should be in your motion.
Oh, for the, well, it was his bid for that work.
Right.
Oh, okay. I didn't
That's-
hear you say that what the
Yeah.
work was.
What roads?
Waterville.
See, you gotta be specific here.
Hang on, let me see yours.
Yeah, it was.
Trowbridge? Trowbridge?
No,
No,
It's- it's-
when he gave the description before.
Okay.
Waterville, Whitney, and Jordan.
There you go.
Thank you.
Waterville is a 6 foot by 2 foot high,
Plank bridge.
3-sided bridge or plank bridge, depending
We
on your
just
point of
needed the
view.
road names in there.
Okay.
We don't need.
Whitney Road
How many
is
2x4s?
a long 6x6 box culvert, and Jordan Road is just a squash pipe culvert, large
Do I
bores.
need all that detail?
No,
No, just the
You
road
probably
names.
got it, you probably got it.
Just copy this 86 page.
just,
That-
yeah, just include the contract, the addendum, and Tyler's letter in the minutes.
We all,
And make sure you read
The
that. too.
84 page?
Yeah,
it was motion made by Denton,
Check that one.
seconded by Lance,
That's,
5 ayes.
Usually I have like six.
Go
You
away,
got
read on.
the notice of award.
Next.
I know.
You got the notice of
Anything
proceeding,
else,
You got
or-
the contract, and you close out
Painful.
paperwork.
this is, yes, I agree.
Lance,
Yes,
anything that needs to be in the minutes, show me, I'll take a picture. Like, other than,
you really are going to regret that.
right, because,
The contract does not need to be in the minutes.
no, I don't think so,
Alright,
but.
so you're all set with the
It
roads?
has to do with money.
Number one is.
Actually, I'm gonna hang on to this one.
Executive session.
This is, the 3 contracts, the 3 bridge contracts, they were
This is Massachusetts.
a lot shorter.
No, I know. Same thing.
No, it's different
They're
rules.
different rules.
No,
I
Huh?
read you the reasons for executive.
I don't think it would need executive. I mean, we really didn't have.
Executive session for what?
I'm
Okay.
just saying.
Thank you for your road update.
you have anything else, Lance?
Did you have anything else on roads that you forgot?
I'm just looking at the emails, Mac. I don't think so. I think we're all set, caught up with,
So we'll have another update about the meeting, or the bids for tomorrow, and the meeting on Wednesday.
Jesus, how the hell did I get so goddamn?
2 Mondays from now.
Oops.
Yeah, in fact, you'll probably have
We reviewed it.
approvable contract by then.
Addendum.
To sign.
To bid opening tomorrow.
What's that?
Is that on the
We want to
warrants?
get them
So,
going as fast as
Yes,
possible, you know, so we
yeah,
can get.
to,
it is.
but tomorrow, if you ask us, we'll be able to give you a number.
Excellent, perfect. All right,
Good email to
Why?
board business,
do that to you.
moving extremely slowly tonight. I'm the only one that hasn't signed them, perfect.
We're supposed to start the job descriptions tonight.
We have a lot of stuff. Well, the bid approval for the roads we've already covered, which is good. First one, dear Select Board of the Town of Bakersfield, I am unfortunately writing this letter to inform you of my needs to resign the position as auditor from the town. Due to new work commitments, I will be unable to fulfill my position responsibly as auditor. Thank you, Courtney Sky.
Oh,
We need
Well,
motion
thank you, Courtney, for your
acceptance.
services.
I'll make a motion that we accept Courtney Scar's resignation as auditor for the town of Bakersfield.
I'll second that.
All those in favor of accepting Courtney Starr's resignation, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next order, 2021 proposal for Cook's Cemetery. Services to be provided by Ross Allen, sum of $750 for mow and trim of all areas, clean up debris, limbs, etc.
Per mow, how many mows?
For which
No,
cemetery?
for mowing and
It's
trimming
total,
of all
okay.
areas. One lump sum of $750 for the year.
That's up in East Bay.
Cook Cemetery, just above the Cooks Brook pump house.
Yeah. The old cemetery.
Oh, by the old Roy's place.
Yep.
So is it, that's us that pays that, not the cemetery committee?
Different cemetery.
Oh, that's just for this one here?
That's just this one here, yep.
And the Catholic one's a different one, yeah.
But that's not,
Well, that's the
Us.
Catholic Church.
Yeah, as I said, it's different, yeah. So all three cemeteries are paid for by different organizations.
and I'm pretty sure, not 100%, but I'm pretty sure we had already budgeted the $750 as it's been the same for
Is
the
that
past
who's
couple
been, I
years.
was gonna say, has
Ross
he been
has been,
taking
yeah.
care of it anyway?
So we need a,
I'll make a motion to accept Ross Allen's bid of $750 to keep the, what's it called? The
Cook's.
Cook's
cemetery.
Cemetery.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second for Ross Allen to do the mowing and trimming for the year for a sum of $750. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? There we go. That's an old one, that's an old one, that's an old one. Alright, I believe this went to, I feel like I saw this also went, so I think it was sent to both of us individually.
It could very well have.
So I will read the letter that came to Lance. So Lance, I wanted to let you know that we have been having a fair amount of vandalism happening here at the school. We believe it is high school students who are here after everyone is gone. However, we don't really know and do not have any proof. We've had multiple things written with inappropriate sayings and drawings. We also had the baseball bathrooms broken into, doors, sinks, and toilets smashed. There are a few other things damaged as well. Wanted to reach out to you as we have also noticed someone has been pulling bricks out of the Brigham Academy. All we have cleaned up, we have cleaned up all the writing and that was written on top of the sign. All of this is unfortunate. Many of our students are very disappointed, confused, and angry about the damage they have seen as well. Working on getting some more cameras put around, and I thought that maybe the town might want to do the same. I have also reported the bathroom damage to the police. It'd be great if we could work together and somehow try to prevent these things from happening. I'll reach out to a few other select board members as well, but feel free to share this with whomever you feel needs to know. Thank you for your time and all of you have done. So, I can verify that
Some
I have.
people were there, but it wasn't high schoolers.
I can verify that I've also seen this because I've gone over and played ball with my kids on the fields, and every door on every building over there has been smashed off, tore off. Even the upstairs, what we used to have for the announcer's booth on the Little League field, has been completely demolished. The door underneath where Little League stored all their equipment has been ripped off. I would imagine the equipment has probably been,
There was nothing in there.
there wasn't anything, okay. So, there wasn't anything left when I went over to see what had happened, so.
Yeah,
I was hoping there wasn't anything in there,
they don't store anything there anymore.
so, as we can now see why.
I'm surprised though that the school's cameras have not picked anything up.
I don't think they have the highest quality cameras. I think they're
That's quite a
meant,
ways away from the building,
yeah,
too.
I think they're meant for, like, people trying to come in for
No, but like for
identification.
Brigham, what side of Brigham did they take bricks off from?
I think what they're talking about is the old sign, the Brigham Academy sign that's out front on the green.
Yeah, there wouldn't be cameras on that side.
No, they've been taking bricks out of
Out of the building?
out of the building as
Okay.
well.
I know my son said that he went over, I guess they were helping clean it up, some of the vandalism, and he said that they were doing some stuff to the signs, the big sign, the big brick sign, so. She's asking for help. Does anybody have any suggestions? I mean, my personal opinion is it's gonna get worse now that it's summertime. At least right now you have teachers there till some
Yeah.
hours of the night, you know, but
I wish that we had a contract with some police organization
I mean, unless we
for
have
some service.
you might need more lighting so that, you know, it's not like,
I was gonna say.
If nobody's
we
checking on
shut
them,
the light off, so they don't have that security light down there, it's not lit up as well as it used to be.
this is
well,
true.
the side that they're
But-
doing the damage on though, there was no light there. There was only on the backside by,
No, I know, as
Billy
far as
Brigham.
Brigham Academy,
Yeah.
but as far as school area.
yeah,
But that would be a smart thing on their part to put more lighting out. They're really, you know, a really good, set a couple floodlights that really light up out towards there.
Well-
Might be one answer.
some claymore.
and I'm not so sure the cameras.
I'm surprised that people in the air, I mean, there's so many people that live so close to there
Terry, 2 years
I
ago, they
can't-
stole a school bus.
and nobody heard it.
Nobody heard it.
And they made it all the way up the arena.
Wow. People sleep, I would be, I don't sleep that.
You should have hired them because they can
Heavy.
drive.
It wouldn't take much at all for me to wake up.
I don't sleep well either.
You know what it's called? Old age.
Thanks.
I can't sleep either.
No.
Look at him.
Lighting certainly wouldn't hurt, but it's not gonna take them too long to know that there isn't much for enforcement, no matter what we put up.
Well, we were actually told that by a retired police officer's wife. She confronted a couple teams that were doing some damage over there last year. And she was straight up told, this is Bakersfield, they aren't gonna do anything about it.
Did she know their parents?
She knew the kid.
And she didn't go with the parents?
She did.
And the parents are okay with it? Well, if the parents are okay with it, you're not gonna do anything with that situation.
It's true.
Yep.
But I'm just, I mean, that's the hard part.
That's sad. That's the sad part.
So again, she's asking for help. If anybody has any
I
ideas.
don't know what we could do. I mean,
I'm not sure either, Gary.
Add some signs that say under video surveillance.
I guess say, well, there's no. Maybe hang some beef out there so the bears come over there and hang out.
I believe they already traveled that area.
Now, who is our bear warden in town?
It's a dog warden, isn't it?
Well, I will let you know that I did call the game wardens, and their recommendation
Just
was
pulling your bird feeders.
pull the bird feeders.
You think?
Keep compost covered. You know, don't leave food scraps lying around.
Yeah, they should probably do away with that compost stuff, cause that's when all this started.
But they did say that,
Ryan
you
had
know,
a
we
picture
do
of the
live in a
bear.
rural area, and as far as trapping the bear and relocating, that was not gonna happen, so.
The one at the golf course is bigger than the one that's in town.
Well, there was one out there by behind Dave Jacobs. It was a pretty good sized one.
Yeah, we saw it the other night, Billy, Ryan.
Ryan.
Had a video of it.
We got one with 2 cubs on the farm.
There's a lot
Rodney
more.
has a big one. It's probably close to 300-pounder out in the old back meadows
Yeah.
of the barn. And up by me, John Kleinfeld had one in his garbage, and Linda, used to be Leonard Lumbra, was on their deck, and there was 2 down across from my place. They were on the road one night.
So,
What do we do with our compost? Like, just-
I'm not
Well,
really
you wanna
sure.
know what I do with mine?
Same thing I do with most of mine.
I'm not burying it, I can tell you that much. I don't want those things around my house.
I'm not really sure.
Cause I have a compost pile in the back.
Oh, you're part
Is
of
that
the
your
problem.
refrigerator?
No, that's not my refrigerator.
You're part of the
On that,
problem, Tammy.
Has the refrigerator been,
No,
okay, I just asking.
what are we gonna do with it once we get it?
It's a great question.
I'll bring a tractor up with a grapple on it, and I'll pull it out of there. Max says I can reach it, but what are we gonna do with it once I move it?
Dig a big hole down the gravel pit.
No, we can't do that. That's the problem. I'm not sure what you
I
can
don't know what we do with it.
I'm
I mean-
not opening it.
I think this is like a really bad case of,
What?
the garbage, not garbage, the refrigerator.
It's
You
full of
got a
shit.
dumpster right on the lawn, put it in it.
When that door pops open, when I drop it in that dumpster,
It's gonna be awful stinky.
I'm gonna be gone.
It is what it is. Their fridge, let them take care of it.
I'd like to apologize ahead of time, Tammy, for the smell.
I've got a neighbor between me and them.
Lance should technically be apologizing.
Did we send them a letter?
I don't think we
Did a
did.
letter get sent to them?
I would chain it shut before you pick it up,
At least some good duct tape.
so that it can't open.
Or get a strap, or get a strap, you know,
Right.
go buy a cheap, ratchet strap, put around it,
I've got an old ratchet strap I can put around it.
cause it's probably nasty.
It's
If you attempt to take care of it, just give us an update.
Make a gag and maggot.
We'll be working on the FEMA workbooks for the next couple days, and then we've got a meeting with FEMA Thursday, so Friday maybe, if you wanna tackle it.
So the only other piece of mail that I have here is from the Agency of Natural Resources.
A&R? Oh boy. What do we do
Notice of alleged violation. Alleged violator, Town of Bakersfield Selectboard.
Does not one say?
It does say it's been taken care of.
What did we do now?
The trash and recycling drop-off certification conditions, number 24, failure to submit quarterly reports.
That is the solid waste district's problem.
The solid waste district has taken care of it.
Okay.
They got the same letter we did. Kathy emailed me earlier in the week, or talked to me earlier in the week.
Quarterly report of what? The income coming
Like,
off it?
probably. No, probably the like tonnage that's being taken out of the town and such.
But it's not just our town.
No, but
Okay.
but we're the site, and we as the select board are the site supervisors, I suppose. That's kind of what we've signed off on.
Technically, only part, hold it.
Technically, we are the
It's on
facility.
state property, some of it is.
We are the
If
facility.
not all of it.
Facility owners.
No,
Is
we're
what
not.
that's what the state of Vermont.
Yeah, but he is mistaken.
Well, I'll let you take that up with the Agency of
As
Natural
long as somebody
Resources.
else is filling out the paperwork, I don't care.
Facility
It's all
owner,
done.
Town of Bakersfield Select Board. That's us.
Ah.
According to their paperwork. So,
According to the maps, that is state property.
So they own it.
Problem was Barry asked the select board years ago when he first put the.
right.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to know that we got the letter. Kathy said it's been taken care of, so I just wanted to make sure it's all
That
done.
was, who's running that now for here?
Well, she brought it to,
Mark.
Mark Doremus, okay. Thank
He
you.
called
I just,
there,
I
they
could, I
received
picture
it.
his face, I couldn't come up with a name.
So that bid approval for the roads we've done. Brigham residents.
Brigham residents. The application for the grant has been completed, submitted, and resubmitted. We're in a holding pattern, just waiting.
Okay. Have we moved anywhere on the ad hoc position? I know we got a quote on the insurance at one point for that position.
What's the,
I said
what's the
that.
ad hoc position?
Correct.
And then
You
it will
remember where it
allow
was?
us to have a temporary employee that works for the town.
It was an email, wasn't it?
I hope so.
I'd have to do a little research on that. Okay, assuming you paid this position $25 an hour with an estimated $25 for 25 hours a year, that's an annual estimated payroll of $625. The WC rate for highway is 7.60 per 100 in payroll. That comes to less than $50 for WC coverage. Temporary employee would also be covered for liability. Additional cost would be around $10 to add this to your liability coverage.
That's for the year or monthly?
That's for the year, that's for that salary. I say we bump up the 625 to about 1,000, just in case, and it's not gonna cost us much more for insurance, so. It's,
And this is
you're
the
talking,
email she's responding to.
Okay.
you're talking tens of dollars more for coverage.
So what you're saying is you're willing to pay this ad hoc position $1,000 a week,
Up to
up to
$1,000 a year, wasn't it?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
25
this
hours
looks
per
like
year, yep.
25
Okay.
hours a year, because I was just
That's per
ballparking
year,
it.
that's why I
Just to
say,
give an idea.
we could bump that up to 1,000 per year. How much time are you looking at here?
It would totally depend on the year,
Right.
right?
And what we're doing, because $25, I think is a little high.
That you
Oh,
would
per
pay for
hour,
25?
yes, yes, I
And you were
agree.
saying you wouldn't do it for less.
No, I said 20.
You said 20?
Yeah.
You sure?
I'm positive I got the pay stub to prove it.
Do you want a copy of this?
No, I believe you.
So that,
Brenda looks like she might want one,
Do
or
you
at
want
least
a
look
copy
at
of
that.
if you take it down to
So the
$20 an hour, that gives us approximately 50 hours of labor for an ad hoc position.
Yep. Which would be sufficient, I mean, that's a week plus,
Yeah,
so
most of the time.
50 hours.
Most of the time it would never get used.
It won't actually cover
Right,
50,
exactly.
Josh, because you got taxes.
Taxes and everything else.
Yeah.
And you're saying, so, and we need to set that, and we said $20 an hour. Are you,
I mean, is,
this is gonna be a
what do you
motion
think?
made here in a minute.
Yeah,
so.
what do you think, Terry? I just want Terry's opinion. Do you think 1,000 is too little or enough, or what?
For what now?
An ad hoc position for
A part-time,
1,000 per year.
for part-time
You know,
employee.
Just for
If there was an
those
emergency
times.
situation.
We had to hire
where
somebody
we
for a
had to
couple
hire
days.
Either a former employee or somebody qualified to do the job. For
Say one of the
example, when
boys
I
is sick or
came-
hurt and we need somebody else to plow.
Or
For
drive
a day or
truck or,
But I thought we found that there was all kinds of other stuff that goes with that.
That's what we were just discussing.
That's what we were just talking about.
Right.
The total cost of it, if
Do
we
you want a
paid
copy
them,
of this, Terry?
yeah, give her, the total cost, Terry, would be less than, on top of $1,000 in salary that you would pay, the total cost would be less than, what'd you say, $70,
Yeah, less not.
$50 for workman's comp on that salary, and then $10 to add them to the liability insurance.
So what was it that Abby told us would,
She thought workman's comp was gonna be significantly higher.
it was the workman's comp?
Yeah.
This is the
Okay.
email I sent for inquiry. This is
But-
the response.
So my question was, since the actual insurance, workers' comp insurance and liability insurance is so little, why don't we bump that up just a little bit, just in case? I mean, we don't have to pay it out. If we don't need somebody to do the work, we don't use it. But we do need to pay the workers' comp and liability insurance up front for the position.
Right.
So theoretically, you would be budgeting, say, $1,100 a year.
That would cover, $1,500 would probably cover the workers' comp, liability, taxes, for about 50 hours labor.
And salary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At $20 an hour.
And then we would need to, have a list of approved, certified, or qualified individuals with drug screening if they have a CDL. Make sense?
But rather than be shorthanded in the middle of a 12, 18-inch snowstorm, we have this option now of
Or
pulling
natural-
somebody in
Or
to,
natural disaster.
or natural disaster, or any number of things.
So you would want a list of people, you wouldn't wanna have like maybe 2 people that are,
People that were amenable to doing it, yes.
They'd have to be qualified individuals and like I just said to Mac, they'd have to, be willing to submit to a drug screening if they were gonna operate equipment.
Yep.
Which, I mean, basically you wouldn't really hire somebody on if they weren't gonna be able
If
to
they were
operate.
gonna have to, if they were to use the big trucks.
Yeah.
The little truck would need a CDL,
Oh, okay.
it's smaller, but,
Well, it needs a class B.
no, we got one.
No, that's small truck doesn't need CDL, doesn't it?
It's small enough, it's under the radar.
Right, you don't need a
It's
CDL for that small
under
truck.
26,001,
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm not, don't quote me on
but I mean,
I'm pretty sure
yeah,
that,
there would be a short list of qualified individuals that
Supposed to
would
be class B.
be
Yeah.
called in the
we had
case of an
them in
emergency.
PCI, those little low pros, we all drove them without CDLs.
Okay,
Learned the weight.
So,
take your word for it.
emergency, that's the key
Yep.
word.
The next one up,
Yeah,
I mean, it wouldn't
Yes.
be just a, yeah,
Mhm.
the class B with like,
Well, I
like
mean-
a single axle.
yeah,
Hmm?
if you're at the
Single
end
axle,
of a
bigger truck like a.
18, 20 hour snowstorm, And
that's there.
somebody
That's
needs
there.
4 hours of sleep,
Yeah.
calling somebody in for a 4-hour shift, I don't think would be,
It's got air brakes, you could have a
Unheard of.
CDL. Used to. Of course, I was one of the ones that grandfather didn't have any CDL, so.
I think most of the time you can probably take that 4 hours and,
it depend on what the storm is, yeah, absolutely. And then any other natural disaster that could
what do you
occur.
guys do now?
I'll give mine up about
You
about that
rotate
same
or do
time.
We're so rural that it really doesn't ever come up. You know what I mean? As long as I've been here, we've never gone, usually you get to 8 o'clock at night, go home, go to bed, wake up at 3 o'clock,
Right,
you know.
As long as
You
it's
get
not,
tired,
as long as it's not dumping 3 inches an hour, you're alright.
I live on
I live on Main Road.
Don't care.
pennies from heaven,
Yeah.
they don't wanna give it to somebody else, I wouldn't want to.
Right, and this,
I've seen it on my road with the snow is up the headlights of my
You
little
know,
car.
if this is the difference between keeping a road open and
Don't
shutting
snow.
things down, you know,
Well, it gives you a policy in place
absolutely.
if
Right,
like another October storm hits.
right.
Yep,
Or a disaster like we had with the sugaring season
Ah,
this year. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but
that was
That
just
was-
a crazy frost, like the relief of frost, I guess is what you call it.
for everybody, it wasn't just us, it
No.
was every town in Franklin County just about.
Right,
God forbid we have another ice storm.
so I would entertain a motion.
Alright. Wow.
Listen good, because I probably won't be able to repeat this.
Okay, talk slow.
I make the motion that we create an ad hoc position setting aside $1,500 in the budget to pay an individual or individuals $20 an hour for a maximum of 50 hours, covering the wage,
Wait a minute.
That's per year also.
oh yeah,
sorry.
per year, thank you. Is that what you said?
Maximum per year.
Okay, maximum $50 a year,
No,
50
50
hours
hours.
a year.
50 hours a year at $20 an hour,
$20 an hour for a max of 50 hours a year,
thus covering
thus covering.
Emergency.
workers' comp and liability insurance and taxes.
Okay,
To provide emergency work.
to provide emergency work.
Anything else?
For the road crew,
Right.
Under the direction of,
under the direction of Mac, or road foreman, because it may not be Mac and
Right,
Road
Yeah.
commissioner.
road
Listen, they
commissioner,
road
foreman.
foreman.
Road foreman.
Yep.
Okay. That was Lance.
That was Lance.
That was all of us, but
Seconded by,
Yes.
It takes a village to raise an idiot.
Brenda.
All those in favor of what Lance said, because I'm not repeating, say aye.
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 Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? There we
That
go.
is it.
As I said, it takes a village to raise an idiot.
That wasn't as painful as it could have been.
Or
I
a
think.
council small
That was
estate turn.
good.
Are we gonna do a little blurb, maybe on Facebook that would get
For-
people
For
to,
qualified individuals to,
right, to come forth?
Just emphasize that it's for emergency purposes only.
yep. And that you have to be
Right,
able
this
to
is
pass a,
temporary.
your
Temporary ad
invest.
hoc.
So when you say they gotta do the drug test, they'd have to do it,
It would have to be, you know, like if, say I was gonna be put on Mac's list.
Most of the time, they've already done it if they got a CEO.
Right.
I think you have to have it down to a CEO.
Right. Like I could get record of a clean drug screening from
right?
the
Mhm.
bus company
But,
or the truck.
Like, you guys get tested how often? Once a month,
Random,
It's random.
quarterly.
quarterly?
Somebody gets picked every quarter
Camp used to be once a month, but we had more drivers.
or, yes.
Yeah, we're once a
So
month.
would the people on this list have to be tested random quarterly?
I know our guys get once a
They would
month.
have to provide a clean screening.
Easy.
I think she fell asleep over there.
No.
Got slippery head.
I know at other jobs, you have to provide a pre-employment screening, which can be done down at occupational health. Actually, that $1,500 would probably even cover a couple
It should.
pre-employment screenings if we had a short list and we
I don't
said,
think I'd pay for that.
most companies do.
Occupational health?
They do.
I've never worked for a company that doesn't pay for it,
For temporary stuff?
for anybody that's on
Anybody
your list.
working
Yeah.
for you.
Actually, you could probably just get thrown in their pool, to be honest with you.
If you're only gonna have two people, yeah, just throw them in
Throw
the
them in the
pool.
pool with these guys and then they could be randomly pulled at any time.
Yep.
Oh,
You're talking about a couple of retired people, right? Did you have anybody in mind?
No.
No.
there you go.
Maybe me, a couple more 10 years.
There you go. Did you say 10?
10 years?
Arnold's available.
Wow,
There
really?
you go.
Um,
You're 80 back.
Ooh.
shots fired.
Don't construe that as an offer of employment, though.
Yeah.
So, ad hoc, check. American Rescue Plan Act. I am not sure what that is. I'm assuming somebody else has the paperwork
Right
on
here.
that.
What is it?
Well, I handed you out paperwork on that last week, Joshua.
All right, American Rescue Plan Act, Coordination and Assistance Program. The Vermont League of Cities and Towns is the statewide membership association. We've all got this. So we can just include this in a minute. It's money set aside to help the country recover from the detrimental effects of the coronavirus disease in 2019 until present. The money is not yet dispersed for the town of Bakersfield. Rumor has it that there are several communities and organizations that have received money in Vermont, but we're looking to be a couple months out,
I
maybe.
think it said June,
It
second half of June.
I did. One person I talked to said they're running behind, but
Okay.
you know, this is the government.
Is it per capita?
I don't know what it's based on, and I don't know.
Population.
From what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tammy, in most of the country, it is dispersed to county governments. The state of Vermont does not have a county government, so it's issued to a county and held and dispersed in an equitable way to the towns of the county. So the only way that I could see that you could do it in an equitable manner would be per capita.
Right.
But
So there's a map online, it was like anyway, you kind of hover over it, on the towns, and Bakersfield, according to this map, is supposed to get $130,000.
And that money is for,
It's for,
What?
I mean, I gave you a thing last night, that's
I
what
know.
it was for, or last week,
let me say last week, no,
things that you
Here.
can use it for.
I think this is it.
That's right.
Economic development, capital investment, economic recovery grants, where was it? It was specific.
Well, it's for community improvement. I mean, technically, I think it could be used for the Brigham project if we had to,
I'll find it again.
some of it. Oh, by the way,
Coordination assistance.
the Brigham project, something I forgot to tell you about that on the grant. One of the people down yonder came up with a brilliant idea. I don't remember who it was. It weren't me. I don't qualify. That building is worth what, $330,000, Tammy?
I think so, 331 or something like that.
Yep. And the town is donating that,
Assessed.
selling it for $1. So that's the equivalent of the town of Bakersfield putting $331,000
That's
into
true.
the project.
In, what do they call that, in kind,
Yes.
so that. gives
So
us
we
the
had to show
significant-
that we were willing to invest in the project, and that's how we did it.
Okay, that's a great way to.
It was somebody down from the planning
Maybe we should-
commission, the
maybe we should
Northwest
have it.
Regional Planning Commission.
Maybe we should have it reappraised right now while everything's crazy.
Yeah,
Was it
right?
Kathy Lavoy that came up with that idea?
I don't know,
Or somebody working with her?
I don't know.
All right, so the American Rescue Plan,
Maybe it was Paul Dreher, I don't know.
outside audit, we have not jumped onto yet. We're still waiting on that, correct?
What?
The outside audit.
That was just, you asked me to put that in there so you didn't forget about it.
Right, placeholder.
It is.
And job
Abby,
descriptions.
is going to, for us, give one last attempt to contact Jason and schedule it. Jason Batt, right?
Yep.
Correct.
And if she can't get hold of him, she's gonna forward the contact information to me and I'll share it with the rest of you. And I'll try getting in touch with Jason myself. Do you know him?
No.
I don't really know him either.
Did we have, within the context of our auditor, do we have to get another one or advertise for another?
We have to audit from the time Abby ended her term until
January, February,
January, February, that's
March
it,
2nd.
okay. Thank you.
and that's just an audit, an in-house
Internal.
audit.
And yes, we need to consider whether or not it's time to do an external audit.
That's something that we would have to
Add to the budget.
discuss and add to a budget, absolutely.
Yes, that would have to be added to, but it's not cheap.
No.
Any of the ARP money?
It's at least
Go towards
16.
The ARPA?
1,000?
Yeah, so I was thinking somewhere in
I
there.
thought it would be more than that, to be honest with you.
I'm not
Gonna
sure.
ask Jason's company, that's what they said was 16.
I know when we do the
Emma,
town village
six-
Enosburg, it's like
1/6,
$20,000.
16,000.
Thank you.
I think we pay over 20 for the village. We got.
We've got a lot more entities than we do, yeah, for sure. Yep.
I'd like to re-put that on the agenda for next time and look into whether we can use the ARPA money towards that budget,
Okay.
towards doing that.
What money?
The
The
ARPA money?
American Rescue Plan Act
ARPA money?
The one we
towards,
just got done talking
towards
about.
our outside,
Outside audit?
for our outside audit. It's a windfall.
We definitely need to do the audit. It's been, things have been tight in the last few years and it's been put off because money's tight, but it's been,
We can only use that excuse for so long though, before we have to have it done.
right.
Yep.
Well,
for
and we
sure.
don't have to burden our voters on the next go-around.
Yep.
We know we're gonna do something with taxes anyway, but this is a good way to say, here's the audit, here's what we got.
Absolutely.
Plan ahead.
So So the next thing I have is job descriptions. We have the email from Gary Denton, if anybody's looking for it, it was sent May 25th. He
And that's,
has,
and that's a basic for us, our crew. I mean, that's
Okay.
based, and that's based on a union crew, where all our guys are union, so it's,
Yep.
it's based on the union crew.
so he has highway foreman, equipment operator, and laborer, class C. What is, I guess,
That's a non-CDL, he's, you know, he's the guy that,
just the,
he does the sidewalks, he does mowing the lawn, he
Okay.
just does general labor. He doesn't drive truck,
We don't have, all we have is foreman,
and truck driver.
and then your
Oh.
two
right,
workers. We don't have just, I mean, Danny operates equipment, Mac operates equipment,
right,
Mark
right, no,
operates
no,
equipment.
yeah, no,
So we want, those two would kind of be combined for us.
right. So, well, yeah, the laborer and the equipment operator.
Right.
And basically just says, you know, your duties and, you know, maintain equipment and.
Did you, by any chance, did this go to Mac?
Probably not.
No, I don't think it did. I think I can forward it to you, Mac. Then you can at least see what we're working with, or what we're starting with. Yahoo or Comcast?
We want to,
Gone,
Comcast?
Yeah.
gone.
We don't have them assisting in the water at all, right? Our water system here. We don't have sewer,
No, Mac is
That's
Mac's the head of the water systems,
But if they have water leak,
which
they,
isn't even a part of us, right?
Right.
which is a separate entity all on its own, yeah.
So we
do we
wouldn't
need to write in the ad hoc position now?
need any of
Job
this.
description for the ad hoc position, what it does and doesn't include?
Yeah, well, that would be, yeah, you'd be your basic laborer with a CDL operator, I would imagine. I mean, we can look at all these, but.
Your labor doesn't include a CEO?
No.
Okay.
but we are going to change ours, so it will have a CDL.
As I say, I don't think it would be hard to
No, I'm just
add a
curious.
CDL into it.
Because right now we have 3 guys, we're like you guys, we have 3 guys, and if one guy got sick, we have only 1 CDL driver and 2 trucks.
Right.
But we're luckily, our power guys can,
You can jump in and go. Well, you're only talking what? Did you say 7 miles of road?
12.
Oh, okay.
It's only the village.
I'm surprised you can fit that much in the village.
Well, we own Hayes Road, up Duffy Hill.
Is this?
Oh, you do?
Is this in a PDF?
West Berkshire Road, Water Tower Road.
Gary, you have nothing, well, I don't know if it'd be actually on here.
What's that for, Terry?
Safety.
No, it's just a job description, not safety. We just,
Yeah, that's,
I mean, we had to follow all, they follow all OSHA
This
regulations.
is a job description, that would be in your personnel.
Personnel,
policy,
yeah, personnel
Right.
policy.
Which is. I mean, quite honestly, I think you could just take out the
Operates variety of equipment to include
supervision.
heavy equipment.
exercised out of this, and it would be basically the same for the,
For which one, foreman?
yeah,
Well, let's see here.
because I mean, you would agree that the 3 of you pretty much share all the same responsibilities depending on the given day.
Yeah.
The only difference is those 2 report to you on, as the foreman.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I think that would,
Yeah, where am I at? The operator is basically the whole thing.
So like for us, technically Kenny is our operator and our foreman, but then Rick Longley, if Kenny's out, he runs the backhoe. And he drives the big, he drives the single axle dump truck. And all we have for equipment is a 410 backhoe and a sweeper and a lawn tractor. I mean, that was John Deere.
Is there anything in there, Mac, that, are you on the foreman?
Right now I'm on Class C labor.
Okay. I was just looking at the highway foreman, I think that pretty much sums up all three of you.
It did. I mean, basically all three of them, if you lump them all in together, takes care of, I mean, because
Delete the overlaps.
when you got down to the Class C laborer, then he throws in mows grass, cuts weeds and brush. We cut grass at the Brigham and the.
You all do it anyway.
Yeah.
You all do that anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But that's not specifically under the other
Right.
category, but, you know. there's-
I can see him now. I'm not doing that. It's not my job description.
Right.
That's why it always has at the bottom, and all other duties.
Assigned by select board.
Mm-hmm. Well, foreman
Foreman.
for those workers and
Foreman, then.
select board for
Select
foreman.
board for the foreman. Okay, yeah, okay. Does anybody want to volunteer to
Operate equipment vehicles for plowing, loading, and removal of snow.
combine these three into a,
Yeah, it's combined into one, you know.
combine the three into
Yeah.
one for highway crew?
Yeah, 'cause a lot of it's kind of duplicated.
And then just leave the foreman position with the extra, the highway foreman with the supervision exercise. And that would be just supervise all highway department employees. That would really be the only thing that would separate you,
Yeah.
that would separate the foreman from the,
Well, no, because on here it has him doing the accurate records, hours worked.
but they keep track of that. All of them do.
Mac
They
just
all
reviews
fill
them.
out, they all fill out their own time
Their own
cards.
Yeah, and Mac reviews
No,
them.
but
so-
Mac, don't you
Oh.
oversee them, Mac?
Yeah.
The time cards,
Oh,
right?
okay, yeah.
I take
You
theirs and I put
approve-
them on the one that you see on the thing. I
Right.
put them onto that, yeah.
Right.
Who approves like vacation days and stuff like that? That's you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that's on here.
but I think that, yeah,
Prepare weekly timesheets for all department employees, submit to, it wouldn't be Director of Public Works, it would be to the,
select board.
no,
Would
we
you-
don't get them, do we? Well, yeah, we do, we have to approve them, so yeah.
Yeah.
it
They
would
go
be
in the
us.
warrant, yep.
We also get all the, descriptions of jobs performed and all that stuff. It's all in a folder out there for our,
Right. Do you do the perform and record routine vehicle and equipment maintenance?
We all
Do you keep track, do you have like records of when oil changes
do.
and stuff like that need to be done? So
No.
that stand of year,
That's, all three of us do that part of it, you know what I mean? We all write down, we got a logbook, we write down when it was done, then you keep 300 hours or whatever it is past that, you do it again, so.
like each of them take care of their own truck.
Well, I mean, sometimes, depends upon if Mark's out with the grader or something and his truck needs, we will do the oil
Oh,
change
okay.
on it.
Alright.
It's, well, I would think if you just took that,
I would say this maybe is just more or less, like he's overlooking their records.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Like
He's
they're
he's
keeping the
reviewing,
records,
he reviews all
but
records.
you're reviewing to make sure they are keeping all their records.
Right.
So
They all make
where it
entries
says-
and he just oversees it to make sure.
Right.
it's-
where it
Reviews,
says
reviews,
supervision exercise,
reviews,
you can say
reviews and approves
supervises
all records.
and,
Review and approve.
Where is it?
Supervision exercise, right here, it's the second page in the foreman.
I only got one page of the foreman.
Let me see. Yep, you did. Okay, it's much longer than that. So there's, what you have goes to, what's the last thing on yours?
Supervision received.
Okay, so that's here. So it's to work under direct supervision of the, it would say, select board. And then it says supervisions exercise, supervise and what was the other thing you said?
Supervise and review.
supervise and review all highway department employees.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the qualifications that they need, terms of employment, and that's right into there. But I think
That did not print.
didn't print.
It's because I was trying to print off the
They're
darn.
pretty well laid out.
I agree.
I think we combine the three to create the
One,
to create the one for Dan and Mark.
Mark, and then have the
split positions.
and then have the one for foreman.
And then create a foreman one for Mac's position. I think it's fairly easily
Yep.
doable.
You're welcome.
Thank you, dear.
Tracking down rabies vaccinations and making our lives easier.
Yep. I gave you the personnel policy too, just remember.
That's right. Forgot about that.
It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt.
Alright,
Seeing this loader, I was asked, what tech did you boys do that buried your loader over there?
The gravel
Somebody
pit.
asked me the other day what you guys did that buried the loader over. Did you bury it over by the sand pit or something?
Did someone go around the trigger on the gate because it was locked? They couldn't open the key. They opened the gate.
What?
oh no.
I changed the combination because we've got people that have been going, just, one day they figured it out and opened up and drive up on weekends and nights, and so I changed the combination. I told Mark what it was and he forgot.
So you went around.
Oh, so we got stuck
Going around the gate.
Oh, no. Oops.
Uh-huh. How'd you get it out?
Pulled it out with a grader, no big deal. After you walked all the way back.
The radio doesn't work in that one? Oh no, down in that hole, nothing works.
It was a loader. Does the loader have a radio in it? Oh, it does?
But down in the pit, the radio only gets out to about,
Yeah,
The top of the
sometimes
hill.
hit and miss.
yeah.
Sometimes it'll go a long way.
Nobody missed him until he got all the way
Well,
back?
he was going over the screen gravel. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So he would have been over there for, the rest of the day, basically.
oh, so
Next
he was
time that
going
happens,
in, not
you
coming out.
replace in a
He's trying to
post
go
because you
in.
just push it over.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to embarrass the poor people. His parents aren't watching, it's a good thing.
It's on TV.
It's on TV.
Strike that from the record.
It could happen to anybody.
Oh, heck yeah.
It could have been worse. It could have pushed the gate down with the loader.
Well, that's what he said he's doing the next time I screw around. And then he threatened to change it to his mother's phone number, so. I said,
So
well,
you couldn't remember?
we've done things like the town garage phone number, my phone number, the town clerk's office. I tried different things. Well, this time I hit another phone number. He didn't remember it. I originally had it as his
Surprised it wasn't
phone
0,
number,
1,
but I
2,
didn't
3,
figure
4.
Dan would ever remember that.
Well, it goes to show you, they don't miss a darn thing in this town.
No.
So here's my
I was
question.
getting
The
gas at
person-
Stones and I was like, what?
Well, of course, that must have been Hazen.
Or Ivan.
Yeah.
You think they could have offered him a ride back to the store, back to the shop then?
No, he wasn't there.
Oh, he wasn't there?
It was just a matter of,
Seen the hole.
yeah, probably.
Oh, probably.
So those are all covered. Alright,
Yeah, because I would hope you would give him a ride back.
set future agenda. Do we have anything that we haven't already added?
Alright, so we're gonna combine these and come back with them?
Yeah, we have
Four-wheelers
four
will be on the next agenda.
I
We're gonna
just
combine these and come back with them?
I want
You're
to
gonna
make a
combine.
comment about the four-wheelers so far since we've
I've got
since
five.
Vasa.
I've got 5 meetings this week.
We got too much going on here, hang on.
Just want to make, since Vasa has moved out in the last couple of weeks, it's been a lot better. We still have ATV traffic, but they've been more respectful, more courteous. They haven't been late riding. It's been pretty good. I mean, we've had ATVs at my way and it's been a lot better.
Good.
I have to say it's been quiet on East Bakersfield
Yeah.
Road since they don't have the trail. Heading
They
over
haven't, I mean, yeah, they did have.
I hear somebody, but I don't know who it is, they go that away.
Someone went out this morning at 2
Bakersfield
o'clock,
way.
came down the hill at 2 o'clock this morning, but
My way?
they did do some donuts in the
Huh?
intersection of Basswood and My Road and also
P.E.G.
Basswood and Waterville.
Yeah, up east.
Not bad, but they did it.
There are several people that go by my house. They come right up Route 36 and get on the excuse me, Tinker's old place.
We still got Dennis
Yeah.
over going down
Thank
the
God.
way.
I mean, Carl Stone's one of them.
You'll never stop him.
Not that I care, but
Yeah, he always goes up to the country
probably
club every night.
95% of them are just as good as can be. The only
Yeah.
one that goes real fast, my nephew.
There you go.
Yeah.
Your nephew.
And
Cool.
Oh,
we are documenting or highlighting or have created another spot where,
If I find something that, yeah, that we need to repair.
And
Yep.
as I told these guys this morning, Steve Jones asked about those signs on Skinner Hill. I heard.
They have gotten in,
Okay.
I gotta go pick them up.
Okay.
Steve Jones, my gosh.
Remind me.
Well, he
tomorrow
he
night,
put new gravel on that road. He didn't want it all tore up.
I've got a phone message
Boy, he's forgotten his childhood,
from,
hasn't
I don't know. I
Well,
can't
you put a lot of
remember,
money in that
maybe
road.
A&R,
Gonna have to
about
remind him.
where the material went from the bridge. And they want a response, so we'll send a message or call them tomorrow.
he? Who's this?
They concerned about everything or just the concrete? I know one time they wanted to know the concrete plant,
Didn't specify on the message.
What is this?
so I don't know where to take those sense of concrete.
Dog bites.
They didn't leave it in town, no?
No, they
It
It's
came
their
in-
own dog, right?
it was their own dog.
George Fletcher somewhere in the
Then it's
concrete.
not our responsibility.
Ginger had to respond.
The rest of it,
Really?
I mean,
So
there's
Ginger had to
nice 4
respond
foot
as the
minus,
health officer.
that we brought over shit and
So
stockpiled
he
over
gave
there.
that, yeah.
Concrete or rock, or both?
I'll just rock.
Did they
Okay.
report it
It was
themselves?
clean, I haven't seen any rebar or anything, but it's a lot of rock.
Where is it?
Isn't it like 2 reports and the dog has to be, dog has to be destroyed?
Next time Waterville washes out, you got
This
some.
is, it was
Got
like
that's
it
no
was
4 foot lines, but
There you go.
Northwest Medical Center.
Oh,
funny but true.
oh,
To
You know, any place that washes out
Ginger.
needs it.
oh.
give to
Yeah,
us
if
the
there was
document.
medical
Yep.
care, yep, yep.
So,
But their workers' comp should cover that.
this was a private incident.
It was their own
The
dog.
one that I just showed you.
Where's Puck at?
So, Leslie bitten by.
Bit by Aaron.
Dog was
Jeez.
So, well, I think
He
they
tried,
have
it
to.
looks like he tried to take food. Or
Tried
touch the
to-
dog's
tried to
food
pet it
while
while he was.
yeah, eating.
I
Um,
have problem like when I eat too.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
the
wanna
first thing
put,
I always train my dog.
Heather Jewett on the agenda with the Northwest Communications Union District.
okay,
And do an update on our video, progress or lack thereof,
okay.
with a possible proposal.
That's the CUD,
Yeah, NWCUD.
Okay. Any others that people can think of?
Just Heather, she
Okay.
can speak to the topic and questions. I'll probably add dialogue.
Any others before adjournment?
Put me on.
No, just a quick question from Matt. Tyler didn't have any trouble with the way we sent those documents last time? Okay, so we can do this one the same way.
We can hand him,
Huh?
he's gonna be here tomorrow.
Oh, for the bid, yeah, absolutely. The bid opening, he's gonna be here tomorrow for it, so we'll be
Excellent. So you're good there?
Yep,
What's the bid opening
You
tomorrow?
call me old,
for the bridge, the new bridge. Huh?
I don't remember everything. I got more shit going on.
you're calling me old?
Ouch.
Any others?
Yeah,
Quick question for you.
Question?
Did we approve the draft zoning and subdivision fees increase?
Yes.
Yes, I believe we
We
did.
did, okay.
We,
Wow.
yes, we approved them when she brought them forward to
I
us.
was the only one that voted no.
And we said that we could readdress it if there was
A lot
any
of-
severe concerns.
Thanks.
Okay. All in and all done?
Was there anything about the dog bite that needed to go in the minutes? Cause I didn't put anything in.
I don't believe so. Gary said he got the,
Vaccination records.
vaccination report, and that was turned in,
You
and
mean
it is
that
now
dog
being,
bite or?
nope, it is now being handled as a workman's comp claim
Uh,
for the village of Venusburg.
But I guess my question too is, since the dog wasn't, shouldn't the town do something? 'Cause I mean, I know a lot, like your dog's not
license.
licensed or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Cause, I mean, the reason for license is that you clarify that you got rabies,
Dog catcher.
you got vaccinations. I mean, that's a big thing, is
It's the dog
vaccination.
catcher's job.
You've already started doing the work, you just
No.
will take the job.
I got a,
Dog catcher.
Okay. I don't catch dogs.
Was that giving it a biscuit?
Yep.
Yep.
Give it a biscuit.
Special biscuit dispenser.
I'm not putting anything in.
Thank you.
I don't do
I
that.
thought there was something about if a dog, and I could have this mixed up,
I mean,
but
part
if
of
a
the whole
dog
thing-
is not registered and that dog does something like that, does that make the town? Somebody one time had
I-
something happen and the
You
town had
mentioned
to
that
pay.
earlier. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that
I
one.
mean, the whole thing.
The
We,
town had to
especially so
pay.
it's, we
Only,
can
I
know-
would say only if the town is aware of the problem. Okay, so now we've become aware of this. We're aware that there's a dog out there that has two dogs that have bitten somebody. And I could see some smart ass advocate going, hey, you knew about the problem, you're liable.
Because what we're doing now, we get their phone numbers, we call them so they can put their dogs in before our meter reader goes. It goes there now.
So I think we would have to look into two different places. We'd have to look into the VTVLC to see what their law is on dog bites, and we would have to look at our own bylaws and see if we have anything from, you know, the past 100 years.
Because I mean, really, I mean, the whole thing for registration is make sure that
We don't have
if
any
they say
bylaws for
the dog,
Right, but I don't know how you could be responsible for
And
a
I
dog
don't
that you don't know about.
right.
I mean, that doesn't seem like it would be.
I'll ask, I'll put it on my list of things to ask.
Excellent, thank you, Linda.
The Harper for us, if that was registered, we could have called them up, the town clerk, said, hey, this dog,
Brenda,
whatever.
your recent-
And they could have said, look it up, yep.
Well, that did happen, but there was no documentation of the animal.
Right.
Correct, so.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put in, because you have talked extensively. Dog bites, you're gonna research town liability for unlicensed dogs and liability of town for problems that have been, after they've been brought to your attention. Problems that happen after the problem dog has been brought to your attention.
And you can put in there also that a vaccination record was located and brought to the village of Venusburg.
Because I wasn't gonna talk about a specific dog bite.
Right.
I was just gonna talk about dog bites.
In general.
So I don't know if I should put that.
We may want that documented,
Okay,
Yeah.
brought.
that you got the records and,
Yes.
yep, yeah, I
It
think
was
we,
located and brought
I
to
agree.
the
And that was
town
it.
office in
I think that's,
Venusburg.
I think it was like 3484, 108, it's that, it's the old,
yeah.
David and Cora
Recent
Ovicho,
dog bite.
the old Albert tenement house, you know, right there.
The one going up the
It's
hill.
the old,
No,
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 it's the
no,
old.
no.
Oh, the one right beside the road. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Back up some.
We would entertain
Yep.
a motion.
Yep.
Therefore.
It's,
Is everybody all set?
Got the
Yes.
name of them. It's Jessica and
Any
Sylvia.
others
Jessica.
before we call
No,
this?
I gotta do some research first. Then I'll bring it.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
That's a first.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're